I played with Jordan and Ryan, both rugby players, so it was good fun. Of course, our sports are very different, but we also got some similarities and share a few things about our sports.
Yeah, she loves the field hockey. Obviously, Netherlands are pretty good. They always go head-to-head with Aussie, so she knows a little bit about Aussie sports, and Nash can whack a ball, that's for sure.
Canberra's one of the leaders in the country in regards to getting behind women's sports, and speaking to some of the players yesterday, they're really impressed with the sponsors that we have here and the support we have in getting behind a tournament like this.
Everyone's so proud to be involved. Even talking to some of the volunteers today, they love being involved. The players love to be involved. People out on the course love being around, and I know we're going to get a big crowd this weekend to come out and support the ladies.
When you see women's athletes in their prime element, it's just something remarkable, and I got to experience that today, and coming from someone who is absolutely rubbish at the sport, it's really awesome to be able to watch.
Yours truly there, finishing off that little package from the Pro-Am. Dawn, still playing pretty well, back into it after some injuries, aren't you?
Yes, I had a shoulder injury. I hurt my shoulder putting my jet ski on the trailer and fell over and tore a muscle in my shoulder, and the doctor said I should have it done straight away, which I did, and I was out of the sport for about 18 months, but I've just got the feeling back again, and I want to get back into the golf and have a game with a couple of these good players.
Lovely to see the Canberra Capitals represented here in number as well. Canberra very proud of its contribution to sport generally in this nation, but particularly to women's sport. Sees a lot of success in that regard. Oh,
absolutely. And, as I said, without the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to hold a tournament like this. And this is my third trip to Canberra for the ActewAGL, and I think it's absolutely fantastic with, what they do. And Audi Sports here, Richard Rolfe, he's just given me a carton full of coins to give to the young kids that are out there this morning playing 5 holes, and we've got disability children out here having a putt, and they're going to be presented with these medallions, so it's going to be fantastic.
It's a wonderfully all-inclusive event, so fed in part, and you'll probably hear me bang on ad infinitum about all of this, Dawn, but a fabulous collegiate atmosphere. I mean, we've got 32 countries represented here, the cream of the crop across the world, but everyone gets along with a smile on the face, pat each other on the back, and congratulate, commiserate when necessary, yep. But a wonderful feeling among all represented here.
It is, and I think, the spectators are noticing that too. They're seeing these wonderful golfers that are really up in the world in their sport, and they're congratulating one another, they're commiserating one another when they miss a putt. What they're saying, congratulations on a good shot, and that's what the sport is all about.
On display at the International Shootout, as I mentioned before. Yes. Let's see it.
Serious business, a fun event for the players, and a chance to represent their countries in a shootout.
32 nations here playing in this next couple of days. I think that says a lot for Canberra.
Golfers from different countries come to Canberra. It makes the Canberra much more vibrant and much more, colorful. So I like it.
It's just exciting to be with all the other countries and have some fun before the tournament gets started. It gives you something more to play for. You're playing for not just the other person, but representing your country, which is a lot of fun.
2 players per team, commencing with a 90-metre pitch. 150 points for the team for a shot inside a metre. An extra 50 points if you hole out. That was never a danger, turning into a real struggle to get it close on the sloping 18th. Izzy Boineau from France was closest, before the long drive handover to teammate Camille Chevalier. Time for the big bombers to step up. With all eyes turning to New Zealand's Phyllis Metty.
If I hit a good ball, I'll have a good chance, but there are players like Anne Van Dam, Charlotte Thompson, and a lot of the other ladies that hit the ball long too, so it'll be exciting to see.
Phyllis has a world record 360-metre drive to her credit.
We were out at altitude. It was a still day, but altitude, hard grid, it's got to land and finish in, and it did.
But finding the fairway was another thing. It was Team USA who combined for the best score. Beth Allen and a hyper-excited Lexi Bolton.
Fabulous stuff.
Absolutely.
Outstanding stuff. The international shootout, a good indication of the sort of camaraderie on display here at the ActewAGL Canberra Classic. Dawn?
Yes, it is. Absolutely fantastic.
You've still got a smile on your face?
Yes, I have.
We'll call home the final 9 holes in a little while. Have a look at some highlights from the past couple of days as well. Always fabulous to see you and your enthusiasm for women's golf in particular. You do wonderful work. Great to see you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much.
Fraser, wonderful.
Get you close to me. Then when I got you, baby, we go crazy with a capital C.
You might be certain about getting solar, but are you certain about getting the right size system? At ActewAGL Solar, we take away all the uncertainty. As your energy provider, we can take a look at your usage data to tailor a system that will save you the most money and offer great prices on battery storage so you can save even more. Plus, you'll pay $0 up front and have all the reliability of a trusted local company. So don't just be certain about solar, be solar certain with ActewAGL.
Audi Open House is now on. Don't let it pass you by.
Back to our live streaming coverage of the ActewAGL Canberra Classic here at Royal Canberra Golf Club. Matt Webber, my name, alongside me, CEO, a very proud one too, of ALPG, Karen Lunn. Hello.
Hello, Matt. How you going?
It's hotting up.
It is certainly warming up on the course and off the course.
Off, yes, indeed. And cream rising to the top too. We kind of expected this. Anne van Dam, the Dutch woman, big hitting Dutch woman, has been turning it on for the galleries here too. And a much-loved champion in G.I. Shin making a mark early too.
Absolutely. When we all looked at the draw this morning, we thought, well, you know, the winner's probably going to come from the last group, but GA in the second to last group there was really lurking. So, yeah, the cream really is rising to the top.
We can have a look at a little bit of the action out on course from this morning. GI Shin here on approach and dialed in, Karen Lunn.
Yeah, I mean, GA said after a first round, she said, I'm just warming up, I'm fine. You know, she was a few shots back of the lead, but not panicking, and she is the class player in the field. There's no doubt about that. The highest ranked player, 54 wins in 12 years on tour, which is just extraordinary.
Fabulous story indeed. There's a stillness and a calmness about her that is just so impressive on course.
It really is. I mean, she's just an impressive woman on the course and off the course. You know, she's been in our sponsors marquee this week. She does so much for women's golf, and it's just a pleasure for us to have her here again this week. Again,
dialing in those approach shots, giving herself plenty of looks at that cup, rolling in another one early, and edging her way a little closer to our leader at the moment, Dutch woman Anne van Dam.
Yeah, we saw yesterday, Anne is just a powerhouse, and she just took this course apart, which is no easy feat. Sarah Kemp played with her yesterday and said it was one of the best displays of golf she's ever seen. And, you know, Anne carries it 280 metres from the tee, which is just extraordinary. And when you do that and you're hitting your driver straight, it can make golf courses look very silly, and that's really what she did yesterday.
So 63, and plenty will tell you she might have left a few out there too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that was the absolute most she could have shot, which is extraordinary, really.
And again, a lovely relaxed demeanour around the course, interacts with the fans and enjoys her golf.
Absolutely. She's a really delightful young lady. She started out here a few years back, and has returned every year, and we love having her here.
It's wonderful. Let's have a look at that leaderboard. Of course, a few other popular golfers in the mix as well. Madeline Sagstrom's been hitting the ball all week at 9 under. Manon de Roy, the Belgian too, still at 9 under. Carly Booth, plenty following her progress with interest. Wonderful draw for the Canberra Classic. She's at 10 under at the moment. And lovely story, Slovenian Katja Pogačar. I've been practicing that, Karen Lunn, at 11 under at the moment, but she's had a wonderful week, the newcomer.
She is only a second year on the tour. She came out here last year and played just one event, came all the way to Australia and played one event, and then played in a qualifying event a few weeks ago. So a really talented young player. I think we're going to see a lot more of her. But as you said, the cream really rising to the top. And look at that international leaderboard that we have. I mean, it's just amazing. All
the colours represented. Megan McLaren, the English woman's had a strong week, as well as won here in the past, a New South Wales Open winner in the past. The Swedish contingent is strong. Lena Bokvist, 6 under there. Esther Henslet, the German, at 5 under. Another Swede, Linnea Strom, at 5 under. Hannah Green, Australian hopes resting on her shoulders this afternoon, and a bit of a tardy start. She'd be disappointed. A few dropped shots early, steadied with birdie, but still has slipped back a notch.
Yeah, and she'll be disappointed. I mean, she was really desperate to come here this week and try and get that monkey off her back, first win on home soil in Australia. She's won 3 times on the Symetra Tour, so that's not an issue. We know she can win, but just getting that first win at home, obviously, for her is a really big deal, and probably it's looking like that won't be today.
A lot of interest too. Leona Maguire, we just saw her numbers pop up there. The Irishwoman, incredibly decorated amateur career, and now forging her life as a pro.
Absolutely, and I think Leona's really enjoyed herself this week. We've been fortunate enough to have representatives from 17 of the embassies in Canberra, and the Irish ambassador's been out here. He's hosted Leona, and it's great to see today. I think we've got 7 ambassadors from different countries out here supporting us, as well as the Governor-General attending yesterday. So we've really had a great roll-up of dignitaries this week.
A lot of interest in Sarah Kemp's progress. Again, another local doing the do this summer. She's at 2 under the card and hitting the ball beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what a great player Kempy is, and perhaps she is a little bit of an underachiever in terms of the ability that she has. But the way she started the year at the Vic Open, finishing second, another top 10 at the Australian Open, she's set up her next 2 years now. She's got a card back for the LPGA. She'll get to play pretty much from May all year, get in the majors. So she's on fire, and she could have a really big year this year.
It's a wonderful thing. You wonder where the switch gets flicked with some of these players. The tipping point from A to B, the margins are so fine, aren't they?
Absolutely, and the difference in half a shot around, say 2 shots every week. I mean, that's the difference between being in the top 20 and being in contention every week, and that's all it is. It is a very, very fine margin from being just a run-of-the-mill average player to becoming a top player.
Talk us through putting a tournament of this nature on in our nation's capital, attracting talent. 32 nations represented, plenty of them on display on this final day. So much work and effort goes into an event like this. How long's it been in the offing?
We've been pretty much working on this event since we finished here last year, and we've had great support from our title sponsors, ActewAGL and Visit ACT. The Canberra government have been a great support, as well as all of our other sponsors. We couldn't do that without them, and obviously the board and the staff here at Royal Canberra Golf Club. So, we're just very fortunate. This has been another great event, and we hope to build on it in the future.
And of course, any trip to Canberra, it's almost a rite of passage to see some of the sites. We've got the High Court, the library, the art gallery, Karen Lunn, but no trip to Canberra is complete without a visit, of course, to the War Memorial here. And that's something very proudly that a couple of our Australian lady representatives did.
Yep, they certainly did.
We were here on behalf of the Australian Ladies Professional Golf to lay a wreath at the last post service for all the people that sacrificed their lives for us, and my granddad was actually in World War II.
Just gives you chills and makes you realise how lucky we are to live in Australia, and how many people have, sacrificed so much for people like me and for the future generations.
This experience was incredible. One, being a foreigner and getting to experience people that not only fought for Australian lives, but just for a better world in general, was really heartwarming.
been a lively presence across the few days here, hasn't she?
She certainly has. Yeah, I was actually fortunate enough to go on that trip with the girls to the War Memorial, and it was just a fantastic ceremony, and it's a very humbling experience, and I think that's what the girls mentioned, that really, is it that important that you miss that 6-foot putt when you look at people who have sacrificed? And as you said, Canberra's a wonderful city to come to. There's so much to do and see, and I think a lot of the girls have really embraced Canberra and had a really good look around when they're here, which is great.
Karen Lunn, CEO of ALPG, alongside me, Matt Webber. Looking forward to bringing you some live action across the final 9 holes. The journey home for our golfers, and it promises to be an exciting finish. The cream rising to the top. G.I. Shin, of course, expected to do well here. Kind of owns Canberra, has won a couple of times here before, and Anne Van Dam, the big, should we call her Anne Van Bam for the purposes of the exercise? She's giving it a hell of a whack, Karen, and they're both doing pretty well as we enter the final stages of this tournament. What's going through the minds of some of these players as they are just about to approach the turn? It is tight at the top of the leaderboard. There are a few waiting in the wings who could pounce if people slip up. How do you keep it together?
Yeah, well, I think that this is what you practice for. This is what you work so hard for, to get yourself in contention coming into the back 9 on Sunday. And we've got players today that are very used to being in that scenario, and we've got players that aren't so used to it. So for some of the girls that haven't been there before, it's going to be a huge learning curve for them. They may handle the pressure, they may not. We just have to wait and see. But certainly for GA, this is her bread and butter. She's done this 54 times and come out on top. So, she's going to be hard to beat. But Anne Van Dam is a huge talent. She really is a star of the future, and, long touted as a future star, and probably one of the best golf swings you'll ever see. So
long is the word, isn't it? She gives it a pounding off the tee, well, around the course generally, and gives herself such an advantage over the other players. We've had this discussion in men's golf for a long time now, power off the tee and what a distinct advantage it gives the players who can hit the ball furthest. That's obviously now starting to creep into the women's game too, and draw a line between some really good golfers and some who are just naturally outstanding and gifted physically.
Absolutely, and now you don't have to just be a good golfer, you've got to be a great athlete too. And if you look at Anne Van Dam and watch some of her social media stuff, how she trains in the gym and how hard she works, and the players now are so diligent, and they have to do that because everyone is getting longer with the technology, the fitness aspects. You've got to put that work in, and this back 9 today, you could really see someone like Anne Van Dam take it by the scruff of the neck, because she just blasted over the fairway bunkers, and it should be interesting to watch.
We'll get to some live action very shortly. Just a quick update of where things stand. Still Anne Van Dam after 8 holes, 13 under. G.I. Shin 1 shot further back and snapping at the Dutch woman's heels, you would have thought, to Katja Pogacar at 11 under, and hanging in there, the youngster, the first Slovenian on the LET Tour, I believe. Carly Booth also there at 10 under. Madeline Sagstrom, the Swede, and Manon de Roy, the Belgian, been impressive all week at 9 under. A little further back, Englishwoman Megan McLaren there. A pair of Swedes, and Kempe is firing up that leaderboard late. She's at 4 under the card now, and who knows? Form. Form is one thing and luck's a fortune. Karen Lunn, as we look at some of the others a little further back on this beautiful day in Canberra, can you think of better conditions for a final round of golf?
No, not at all. I mean, we've been so fortunate this week. The weather has been absolutely perfect, and I think that, we're really set up for a great 9 holes of golf here with the leaderboard. I wouldn't count out Katja Pogacar right now, and Carly Booth, I've had the pleasure of playing with Carly on a couple of occasions when she's gone really low. She's a genuinely good player, so I wouldn't be underestimating Carly at all, and another really long hitter. So, you put your money on Anne or GA winning, but those girls are hanging in there really well.
A few gettable 4s and reachable par 5s too, that'll make things really interesting late on the way home.
Absolutely, and for those girls that are a couple of shots back, I'm sure they'll be going for it on the back 9. As you said, there are a number of birdie opportunities, a couple of maybe drivable par 4s for your Anne Van Dams and Phyllis Meddies and the like, and par 5s you can reach. So I'm really looking forward to watching this unfold.
A few coins in the bank too might be resting on the commitment to having a crack or not.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's going to be a fabulous thing. Let's pick things up. We are on the 10th tee here, the ActewAGL 10th tee, and Carly Booth currently in third place, about to tee it off. 361 metre par 4. Karen, what can you tell us about the hole?
Yeah, well, it's a slight dogleg left, and there's a bunker out there on the left-hand side, which is about a 210-metre carry, and I'm actually really surprised here that it looks like Carly's going with some sort of fairway medal here rather than getting the driver out. We saw Anne Van Dam and a couple of other players just really smash one over that left-hand bunker, and Carly's pretty long, so she may feel she can carry that bunker with her 3-wood, so let's just see how she manages it. But you really do want to try and be up the left-hand side today. The pin's tucked on the right and give you a good look at it.
Snuck it a little to the left there. Interesting pause in her swing, her backswing, isn't it?
I haven't seen that before, actually. It's the first time I've seen Carly play for a while, and I know she has struggled the last year, so it's probably just something she's trying just to get herself back on track. She hasn't been playing well at all by her standards, and there's nothing really to indicate in the last few events that this was going to happen. So it'll be really interesting to see how she hangs in there on this back nine.
Indeed. Here's the Slovenian we've been talking about, Katja Pogačar. Let's see how she approaches it. Also, it looks perhaps the 3-wood.
Yeah, it could be a 3-wood or maybe even a 5-wood. But yeah, she's certainly a talent, Katja. And you know, she came out last year in her first year on the LET and finished 8th in the Lala Mariam Cup in Morocco, which is one of the biggest events on the LET. So you know, clearly to come out in one of your first events and have a top 10 means you've got some game. Yeah, she's just playing safe there, just playing probably short of that bunker, so she's in pretty good shape there.
She was looking very tense on the first tee, looking very fluent now, though, Karen.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there were a few nerves this morning. I mean, this is really uncharted territory for her, and, you know, I mean, if she plays well, she plays well. If she doesn't, then she'll learn a lot from today. You know, you have to get yourself in these positions to actually learn how to win most of the time.
And Van Dam?
Well, this is interesting. She's taking a 3-wood, and I have no doubt that she can actually carry that bunker on the left with the 3-wood. Yeah, she took driver here yesterday and just blasted it over everything, so I'm quite surprised she's taken another option today.
Another gorgeous tee shot from the Dutch woman. What's the price of that form, Karen?
Absolutely,
Are you hitting them that well these days?
No, not at all, to be honest with you. I'll get back into it at some point, but not at the moment.
So our lead group making their way up the 10th hole. Carly Booth leading them out there at the moment. Things pretty tight. Geez, this is set up, this last 9 holes. All 3 in the first group still well and truly in the hunt, and a few in the next group back who aren't too far off either.
No, not at all. And even someone like Madeline Sagström, who is a class player as well from Sweden, Solheim Cup player, she's been up there. She led at the Australian Open after 36 holes. It was tied for the lead. And last week in Bonneville, she was up there. So perhaps she's going to do it the other way around and come from behind. She wasn't able to finish either of those off, so perhaps this could be her day. But there's a lot of class up there. There's a lot of really good players. So someone's really going to have to earn this win today. No one's going to give it away.
There's swings and there's putts and there's chipping games, short games, that kind of thing. The one thing you can't account for, of course, is the weather. Dogs being blown off chains at Bonneville a little while back, and here just picture perfect in our nation's capital at Royal Canberra Golf Club. Final 9 holes of this Canberra Classic. It's just an extraordinary scene.
It really is, yeah. And for the first time, we're playing a composite course here at Royal Canberra. And for the first 9 in the tournament, we're actually playing the Brindabella 9 holes, which is absolutely superb. You can see it there in front of you. It's just in immaculate condition, and the players have just been raving about the condition of the course this week. The greens are absolutely superb. They're running at about 12.3, I think, this afternoon. So they're going to be pretty quick, but it's some beautiful views as well when you get up to the 12th and 13th holes over the south and the Brindabellas. So, yeah, absolutely looking great.
Wonderful condition indeed, and no mean feat given all that's been going on in our nation weather-wise in recent times. The lead group are just making their way up for shot number 2 up this 10th hole. We'll, of course, call all the action home on this final 9 holes. Plenty of interest to see, well, who'll make the next move. Our 2 leaders jumped out of the gates early, both birdied 2 holes very early in the piece, and things have steadied somewhat since then. No one breaking the chain,
no,
so
absolutely.
to speak, and getting away. Where are the opportunities existing today, Karen, for someone to really make their mark?
Yeah, well, I think, Anne Van Dam, obviously she's in the lead at the moment, so she'll be looking, every hole on this 9, she's got a short iron in. If she hits, even hit a 3-wood off the tee, she hits it so far. So she's going to want to put the pressure on. But Jie Shin will also be saying, okay, if I can get in the clubhouse and set a target, then, you girls play for it. So I bet Jie's got a number in her mind. She's a very methodical player. She's obviously got huge experience on her side, but, Van Dam won 2 events on the Ladies European Tour last year. She was second on the Order of Merit to British Open champion Georgia Hall. So, she's a class player as well. So it's certainly going to be really interesting. But very interesting too, just to see how this young lady does catch her. Really keen to watch her and just see how she handles it. As you said, I'm sure she was very, very nervous early on, but you can see there where Anne Van Dam's walking up to her ball, even with the 3-wood, she's miles past the other players.
Indeed. Catching a cab to it this afternoon. What's in the approach here? What are we thinking, Karen?
Oh, it's only going to be a short iron in for these players. For where Katja and Carly are, like Carly laid up quite short, they've probably got somewhere around about 140 metres to the pin, so probably a 7 or an 8 iron, but Van Dam will certainly be going in with some sort of wedge. The pin's cut on the front right of the green, just 4 metres from the right-hand side, so you certainly don't want to be missing this right. I'd imagine Katja will be just aiming a couple of metres left of the pin, and if she does happen to get it closer, she'll take it, but...
Let's see what she can do.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see whether she decides to play aggressively or whether she, at this time, she's just thinking, well, would I be happy with a top 5 finish?
It's a pretty neat effort.
Yeah, pretty good shot. Because at this stage of the year, a top 5 finish would certainly set her up for the rest of the year. So, it's interesting to see what would be in her mind at the moment and whether or not the players are looking at the scoreboards and watching what other players are doing around them or whether they're just focusing on their own games.
It's played pretty tough this hole across the week.
Yeah, it has. It's actually been, I think, the toughest hole on the golf course all week. That bunker on the left is perfectly in position for most of the players, and obviously you want to try and cut the corner to make the hole a little bit shorter, but, that bunker, if you get in it, you're going to probably make a bogey. So, and if you hit it right, then you've got the trees there and it sort of blocks you out a little bit for your second shot. So you can see there Van Dam's just got some sort of a wedge in her hand. It is such a huge advantage. It's I remember when I first started playing and there was Laura Davies, and Laura hit it so much further than anyone else. And, if she hit a driver straight, which wasn't always the case, she had such a huge advantage over the other players. And that's what is with Lexi Thompson and Van Dam and players like that. If they're on their game, they're very, very hard to beat. She's leaning a little bit.
Twisting the body to try and work it back to where she wanted. Good gallery, applauding whatever it is that she did, Karen. Wonderful numbers here here across the course of the few days I've had the pleasure of being here as well. A very proud patronage. I love the golf.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's quite a few crowd out here today. You've got the beautiful vista in front of the clubhouse there looking down the 9th hole as we play it this week, and they can also look over to the 18th green. So there's a lot of people just hanging out in front of that clubhouse area, sitting out enjoying the sunshine on what's just an absolutely beautiful afternoon.
It is a beautiful viewing course, isn't it? Plenty of amphitheatres, natural amphitheatres to take in the action. Find a vantage under the shade of a tree today. I suspect 32, the expected top. Not a lot of breeze taking the edge off it either.
Not at all. You see Carly here, yeah, so her ball did. I wasn't sure if it had carried the bunker, but it certainly had, so that shows her length, that she was able to take what probably was a 3-wood and still carry it over that bunker. I actually played with Carly the final 2 days of the Swiss Open when she won it. I think it was back in 2012. And she played some amazing golf. Again, just a short iron in here for Booth.
Pretty safe play there, Karen Lunn, right in the heart of it. Carly Booth there with her second and a good look at it.
Yeah, and we saw the ball of Anne Van Dam there that we didn't see finish, and it's only maybe 3 metres from the hole, so they've both got a fairly decent chance of a birdie.
She was disappointed with that one by the looks. A testament to the kind of form she's shown across the last few days here at Royal Canberra. Yeah, a couple of LET Tour wins for Carly Booth. A couple of Opens. You mentioned the Swiss Open. I think a Scottish Open to her credit too.
That's right. Yeah. She won the Scottish Open at Archerfield up in near Muirfield up there in Scotland, and not too far from home. She's from Perthshire and only an hour and a half down the road. But that was a really good field that week, and the field that she won, where she won the Swiss Open, that was a high-class field and one of the biggest events on the LET Tour at the time. So, you know, she's certainly not scared of the big stage. She's proven that time and time again.
Very visible presence too. Obviously, there's the social media aspect to her game. She's got quite a distinct media personality and does a lot for the promotion of women in the game internationally. Very popular and almost revered figure in many quarters. But we forget that she's a hell of a player too. Not only now, but as a junior, she was an absolute tearaway, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, and she played quite a few LET events as an amateur and as a junior. And, you know, everyone was just blown away by her strength and how far she hit the ball. And like I said, it'd be interesting to see if her and Van Dam, you know, get the driver out on one of these tees, what the difference is in length. I don't think it's going to be as much as people would think.
Remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting, as you said, Carly, you know, has a big social media presence. She has a big following. She has good sponsors as a result of that. And as you said, she does a lot for women's golf through the visibility that she attracts. And there's some players that just like to put their head down and play their golf. But I think most of them now are realising that, you know, there are some good sponsorships available out there if they're prepared to put themselves out there. And yeah, most of the girls are starting to realise that and have some really good social media followings, putting up videos and little fun things that they do at the golf course and away from the golf course.
With a sense of humour most of the time, which is lovely to see too. So these greens running pretty slick. What's going through Katja's mind now? Yeah, this should be a pretty quick putt from the back left-hand side of the green, as we said, with that pin on the front right side. I'm sure she's going to be pretty happy just to get this one close. It's really interesting watching golf now with the pin flags being there without someone having to hold them. I think it's a great addition to the rules of golf. Should speed play up quite considerably, I'd say, with club golf. A little bit timid on that one, short and right, but at least slightly uphill perhaps to bang home for the par. Why do you say that? Why do you like the flags in? Yeah, I think for the amateur golfer and club competitions, I think you waste a lot of time, you know, especially people don't have caddies like they do on tour, so obviously you have to pull your buggy around the green or if you're carrying across the green. So I think in general, the ready golf concept is a really good thing for golf. So, and I think the players are really enjoying it. There's a lot of debate about, you know, whether your ball has a greater chance of going in with the flag in or the flag out, and some even scientific research being done, I think, which is amazing. But as we see Carly Booth, she would have hoped to learn something from Katja's putt, but obviously Katja didn't hit hers quite hard enough. But this should be a little break from her left. And Carly's quite an aggressive putter, so I'd be very surprised if we see that one short. You can see her using the pink vot off the pass, so she had to pitch out of the bunker. We did say that bunker was a hazard in itself. Close to a save, but no cigar for Carly Booth. No, that'll be a disappointing bogey here. I bet she's thinking now, I wished I had just hit my driver. We thought she'd gone long. Alas, no. So a shot back, Carly Booth now, and just falling out of reach. Still within touch, but you'd want to be snapping at the heels of these two who, in the same playing group, well, these two, Anne Van Dam and G.I. Shin, of course, in the other playing group.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, if Van Dam gets ahead, then she will put her foot even further on the accelerator. She's not one to back off. That's the way she's always played. You know, pretty much every year she's the leader in birdies, and she knew that had missed early on. Just a par. I know she had a very frustrating back nine yesterday. She went out in 29, 6 under par on the front nine, which is, without any doubt, the more difficult of the 2 nines here at Royal Canberra Golf Club that we're playing this week, and felt she left 4 or 5 shots out there. Yeah, she knows she missed a good chance there. And Catch has left herself a little bit of work to do here. This is probably 1.5 metres for her par.
Again, a little left to right, perhaps?
Yeah, I'd say so. Left lip nice and firm. But again, when the greens are running at 12.3, that's not as easy as it sounds. And if you're ever going to get nervous, these are the putts that you're going to get a little shaky over. Yeah, it looks a confident stroke. Nice save there.
Lovely little roll, wasn't it? So the Slovenian stays at 11 under. Katja Pogačar. Fabulous story I read during the week of Katja. Slovenian, I mentioned, first Slovenian to play in the Ladies European Tour. A wonderful achievement in itself. But you hear the goals of various golfers to play in majors or to play in the States. And for Katja, her goal, main goal, to represent her country, 2020, the Tokyo Olympics.
Absolutely, and I think that's a goal for many of the players. We're well into the qualifying period for the Olympics. What are we, 18 months out? And that's going to be a big goal. I was talking to a couple of the Belgians and Austrian girls yesterday, and it's certainly well and truly on their radar. And these events, especially when you have the GA Shins playing, if they play well this week, they've got more world ranking points to play for. So to get into the world rankings is one thing, but certainly then to try and get as many points as you can in the qualifying period is a big, big goal for these girls.
Indeed. Never an opportunity like that in your day, Karen?
No, absolutely not. And to be honest with you, I probably wasn't good enough to get in with the players that I was playing against. But
bit of hot competition about.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean, obviously it'd be an amazing thrill to play for your country. And I know the girls that played in Rio in 2016 just had an absolutely amazing experience.
And let's have a look at the leaderboards before we just take a quick break. Anne Van Dam, the leader, still at 13 under. Gio Shin a shot further back as we slip down to Hannah Green there at 5 under at the moment, failing to make a mark at the moment. But Sarah Kemp at 4 under. Australian hopes perhaps resting with her. We'll be back in a moment, bringing you the final round of the Canberra Classic here at Royal Canberra Golf Club.
You might be certain about getting solar, but are you certain about getting the right size system? At ActewAGL Solar, we take away all the uncertainty. As your energy provider, we can take a look at your usage data to tailor a system that will save you the most money and offer great prices on battery storage so you can save even more. Plus, you'll pay $0 up front and have all the reliability of a...
Back into the action, the ActewAGL Canberra Classic, the 11th hole.
Yeah, just a short par 3.
And Van Dam.
130 metres, so probably just a 9-iron for Anne, I'd say. Yeah, another quality iron shot straight over the pin.
On the bottom tier there too, just where she wanted to be.
Absolutely. She certainly is swinging the club beautifully at the moment. It's great to watch when you see somebody that's that athletic and natural with their swing. It's you don't see that too often. They have the strength and that beautiful golf swing to go with it.
Beautiful fluency to it, isn't there? Interested to see if Carly Booth goes the balk with the irons as well as the driver. Interesting little tick in the backswing.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I haven't seen her do that before. She's always been a fairly natural player, so perhaps she's just, you know, she has been through a bit of a slump, so she's just trying to set the club in the right position there and and keep turning. You can see a grip there. So the left hand's quite strong. You see that creates a lot of power as well, but you really need your body to be turning through it at the same time. Yeah, that's a pretty disappointing shot with a short iron. But it's on the dance floor.
It's on the dance floor. And that's half the battle, isn't it, on these par threes? Perhaps with these big hitting leaders and these gettable longer holes later in the piece, these par threes might be the spot where some gains can be made. Drop a few putts here and you separate the wheat from the chaff.
Absolutely, and that's where someone like Jie Shin is just so good from, you know, any time she's got an iron in her hand, if it's a 5-iron down, she's going to knock it, you know, within makeable distance. So these will be the holes that Jie probably knows in the group in front that she's got to set a target. You know, Anne Van Dam's going to probably go for the green on the 12th hole. You know, she maybe have an eagle opportunity. So I'm sure Jie in front is playing aggressively and trying to give herself as many birdie chances as she can.
Yeah, probably.
Again, good numbers around this lead group, Karen. Finding a little vantage around the par threes, always a bit of a hot spot. Wherever you watch golf in the world, the drama of an elevated tee shot or a high tee shot dropping to these greens, seeing someone put it close, always draws a roar.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is our Cutter and Buck sponsored hole. They're one of our LPG partners, and we're very proud to partner with them with this event. And you can see Van Dam's probably got around about 6 metres for birdie, and Carly Booth and Katja Pogacar a little bit further away. So everyone's got a birdie chance, and I'm sure these players chasing Van Dam and Shin really know they're going to have to start to make a move soon, because, as we've said, when we get to these holes, once we get over the road here to the 12th hole, the course really opens out, and that's where Van Dam could really go silly.
In the nicest possible way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost like a tale of two golf courses here. You have obviously the Westbourne course here, and then you have the Brindabella 9, of which we've just started this back 9. But once we get to the 12th hole, really you don't see many trees. You're out in the open and beautiful views over the southern suburbs of Canberra and the Brindabella Mountains. So it's actually a really beautiful place to be up there.
Almost links style without the water.
It is, absolutely, yeah. And we had a couple of brown snakes up there yesterday, so I'm sure the players will be trying to keep clear of those.
I saw one myself, Karen, and I'm glad I'm in here and not out there, because it was a rather large beast.
Yes, absolutely. It's a beautiful piece of land here at Royal Canberra Golf Club on the banks of the Lake Burley Griffin, and absolutely stunning area. Government House just sitting up the back of the course. It's beautiful, especially on a day like this.
We are in the heart of Yarralumla.
Absolutely.
Are you feeling the power?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it rubbing off?
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of Canberra, that everywhere you go, you're only really 10 minutes from anywhere. It's become a bit of a joke amongst the players. Oh, you know, how far away are you staying? Oh, just 10 minutes. Pogacar putts for birdie.
Good looking roll.
Oh, and what a great putt that was. And that'll really give her a lot of confidence heading into the final 7 holes of her round.
The instant spring in her step, wasn't there? Justifiably too. Fabulous putt.
Yeah, we certainly can't count her out yet, even though we don't know a lot about her, and she hasn't been in this situation before. She's certainly holding her own out there at the moment.
Nice little fist bump there with her caddy. I want to talk to you about the caddies in a moment, Caroline. We'll see these players complete their putts, but some stories to be told among them.
Absolutely. Carly putting from around about 10, 11 metres, I'd say. And she would have got a really good read from Katja's putt, but she just hasn't hit that. That's a really, really poor effort.
A little bobble at the start, wasn't it? Really didn't time that one at all.
No, she just looks a bit frazzled. I think that bogey at 10 has really annoyed her. You could see the shot into the green just with a short iron. It wasn't her best shot. And, yeah, like I said, she hasn't been in great form, so I'm sure she'll be a little bit jittery out there on that back 9 today. Let's hope she can get past that.
The bright pink ball, too. I've seen plenty of those Volvics flying around the place.
Absolutely. Yeah, Carly is a Volvic ambassador, using the pink ball. I'm not sure if she uses any of the other colours, but she's certainly using the pink one today. They're very easy to see in the air, and I'm surprised that more amateur players don't use them because they're much easier to find in the rough. And Van Dam for a birdie here at 11.
Shearing the left edge. And still a bit of work to do.
Absolutely. She's knocked that probably just a little over a metre by. But that's the way she plays golf. She's aggressive, you know, and I love seeing that. It's great for women's golf to see a player like her that just is prepared to take on any challenge. And as I said, it's a little bit like watching Laura Davies back in her younger days.
Plenty will tell you that Laura Davies plays pretty much the same way now. There's a devil may care about it, which is lovely to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still draws a gallery too.
Yeah, she did. There was a lot of people out watching the group of Laura, GA and Hannah Green the first couple of days, which was a really nice group to watch. You had the power of Laura, and Hannah, I guess, is somewhere in between. She hits it plenty far enough, but obviously not in Laura's range. And obviously GA, who's a little bit shorter, but just so steady. I think there's a lot to be learned from all of those three players. Now, Carly really needs to make this putt if she wants to contend today. Having a bogey on 10, that was a bit of a setback, but this will be a disaster in her eyes if this misses.
Things just start to get in your mind, don't they, in the closing stages. Let's see what she can do.
That was a good stroke.
Well saved.
Yeah, she'll breathe a sigh of relief there.
Head to the next with perhaps a little breath of confidence. Yes, I can. Carly Booth, the Scot. 10 under the card for the time being. Chasing down Anne Van Dam. Still a bit to do for her par, Karen.
Yeah, there is. And Anne is a very good putter, but she did leave a few out there yesterday. She 3-putted the 12th after driving it, and she 3-putted 18. Yeah,
well done.
Good stroke there. And she has a lot of those putts because she knocks them by every time. She's not going to die wondering, that's for sure.
Our leader, Dutch woman, Anne Van Dam. Anne Van Bam. I'll continue to say that across the course of the afternoon. I hope it doesn't annoy anybody because I love watching her strike a golf ball, Karen. It's something to behold. Our leader for the time being, the Dutch woman. Out in front and striding off, hoping to put some sort of daylight between herself and G.A. Shin. What is it about G.A. Shin in Canberra?
I don't know. She just said she says she feels really comfortable here. I guess G.A. is such a big star in career and wherever she goes. I guess she can be anonymous here. She can walk down the street as we watch Madeline Sagstrom here putting on the 12th. I presume for a birdie. The short par 4.
In the Shin group. And a lovely roll tickling in that right edge. Take that.
Yeah, she's a class act, Sagstrom. There's no doubt she's going to go on and win a lot of golf tournaments, I think.
A birdie putt here for G.A. Shin.
Yeah, and G.A. would have taken the more, I guess, the safer route here, just laying up off the tee and leaving herself a wedge into the green. Whereas in a few minutes when we watch the final group, I think we're not going to see that. I think we'll see a couple of players having a go at the green. Maybe a touch right to left on this putt, but I don't think it's going to do an awful lot.
Not just for birdie, but a share of the lead.
Absolutely.
It rests on the result of this from G.A. Shin.
Yeah, and this is a bread and butter. You know, from that 100 yards, 120 yards in distance, you know, her short game's amazing. Her putting's incredible. You know, she played here last year and then went on and won 4 times in Japan. You know, you've got to be a good putter to have that sort of a record.
Never in doubt.
No, never in doubt.
Slammed into the back centre of that cup. So we have joint leaders, Karen.
And that fist pump shows you how much this means to GA. She is not just here to have a warm-up for the Japan season. She is here to win.
She... Very confident competitor, G.A. Shin. This is Felicity Johnson, regular visitor to our shores. This is for Birdie on 18 to close out her round. She's had a good week.
Absolutely. She's had a pretty good trip to Australia this year. We're just missing, and that's that, as she's known on tour, Flick, that's her Achilles heel of putting. She strikes the ball as well as anyone, but if she could make half the putts of anyone else, she'd be some player. You see her using the claw grip there. She's pretty much tried everything, and that is, yeah, you can see how frustrated she is there. I'm guessing she left a few out there today, as unfortunately she normally does.
Had the pleasure of watching her warm up this morning, and she's a hell of a ball striker.
Yeah,
flushes them. Yeah,
she really is. Yeah, you can see that she's not happy.
You've just got to have all components, don't you?
You do, and you know she had a good trip out here. She played well at the Australian Open and well at the Vic Open, so she's had a good trip. She has holed some putts, but not as many as she'd like to.
Mm-hmm. Matt Webber's my name, Karen Lunn, CEO of ALPG, alongside me. The final round of the ActewAGL Canberra Classic in beautiful conditions. The bit you can't plan for, Karen.
Absolutely.
Has delivered. Should we thank our government for that? The people of Canberra? I'm not sure what you did, what was in the tea leaves, but it's a spectacular day here, and a thrill to be able to call home this final group, or the final pair, final two groups, G.A. Shin and Van Dam. We thought the cream would rise to the top. It has so far. We have joint leaders and exciting times ahead.
It couldn't be set up better, really, could it? 6 holes to play, 7 holes to play for Van Dam, and tied at the top. It's going to be fun.
G.A. sets a target.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think GA's finished. And here we see Van Dam taking the driver out on 12, 250 metres to the front of the green. And she can't see where that's gone. She has to hit it over the trees on the right-hand side, but the crowd are cheering, so I'm guessing that's going to be pretty close to the green, if not on it.
Yeah, the 12th hole measures 273 from where they're hitting from, the par 4. And I thought it might have played a little easier than it has this week. The 12th toughest hole on the course.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can't reach the green, it's not an easy hole because you have to lay up, and it's a pretty tight layup, and you've got to hit it far enough to get a look at the green, and then avoid the bunker on the right, the fairway bunker. So it's not an easy layup. So players like Van Dam and those that can actually carry that bunker and get near the green have got a huge advantage here on 12.
Would you have taken driver there?
Of course I would.
Give us a relative idea of the distances that you were hitting with driver compared to what's going on now.
I used to carry my driver about 220 metres, 240 yards. That was pretty consistent. Back in the day, I was one of the longer hitters. When you look at this leaderboard, it's getting very tight.
Cluttered at the top, our leaders G.A. Shin and Van Dam. And you'd reckon the second page of the leaderboard here are probably a little bit too far back to challenge now and too far through their rounds too. So many Swedes making the visit here. It's fabulous, isn't it, to see them here. So many talented golfers. The best of the Australians, Hannah Green and Sarah Kemp, 5 under, 4 under respectively. Just not making any ground, Hannah Green, today. We'll be back coming into the last bit of the last bit, Karen. A quick breather and then back for the final 7 holes, the ActewAGL Canberra Classic.
Get you close to me. Then when I got you, baby, we go crazy with a capital C.
Yeah, no worries.
Audi Open House is now on. Don't let it pass you by.
Matt Webber with you here. Final round coverage of the 2019 ActewAGL Canberra Classic. Alongside me, Karen Lunn. Things starting to get a little bit exciting. We have joint leaders. We have six holes to play, and things hotting up at this beautiful Royal Canberra Golf Club layout. Look at the views here. The sky even bluer than what you're seeing today for this final round. A top of 32 expected. I reckon it'd feel a little warmer out there on course because there's not a lot of breeze about. Perfect scoring conditions. As we look down here to our lead group, and catcher Pogačar, the Slovenian, at 12 under, 1 off the pace. Her second shot.
Yeah, we see catchers just taking some sort of a rescue club pot, probably from the tee to lay up, leaving a wedge, and yeah, she'll be disappointed with that. That's a tough pin to get to, though, tucked on that front right-hand corner, but it's going to be a tricky birdie putt left there for her.
Brave chase, that one, that pin.
And we can see Van Dam standing on the green, so I can only assume that's where her tee shot did finish. And Carly Booth just hitting it down the left-hand side. It gives her a really nice angle to this pin. She's only got some sort of a sand wedge in here. Just chatting to a caddy about what sort of shot she should hit. As you said, caddies are a really important part of this, and I know Anne Van Dam has a new caddy this week who caddied for Hannah Green last year, actually, on the LPGA Tour. So we watch Carly hitting in. And she probably knows she needs to knock this close if she wants any realistic chance of contending on these last few holes this afternoon. Yeah, just a couple of yards too far. Landed a little firm there.
Really needed to bite too. The spin back down the hill didn't quite work for her, so plenty to do for Carly Booth there. Just going through a little slump at the moment. The head's dropped a little bit, the shoulders are slumped. And she knows she's got to do something special from here, 3 shots off the pace. But Anne Van Dam here, this could well be for eagle.
Yeah, I'd say it probably is. She knocked it on here yesterday and actually 3-putted, so it's a pretty difficult putt. It's going to have a fair bit of swing from left to right. She's got to go up over that ridge, and then it's all downhill left to right to the pin. So she will want to just, if she can get this close, it'll put her back in the lead again at 14 under par. But obviously GA in front will want to keep the pressure on her as well. It's going to be really fun watching these last few holes. We saw GA really run away with it here last year. It was pretty tight on the front 9 between her and Minjee Lee, but she really did put a foot down, and her class told absolutely last year.
Fascinating, the different methods to putting now, reading putts, and everyone has their own way. Everyone swears their way works.
100%, and you know, back in the days when I was playing and playing well, the putting was really a natural thing. There was, you know, maybe you'd do the plumb bob method and put your putter up, but, you know, then there was aim points, and now the greens books that have everything drawn, every tiny little break on the green, which, you know, I'm not a fan of myself, but, you know, I was probably a little bit more, I felt I was more of a natural player, and we see catcher Pogačar here putting first for birdie, and she's going to give Anne Van Dam a really good read on this putt. Again, it's going to break probably almost a metre from her left, and it's tough to get the pace on this one. We saw her leave her putt short on the 10th hole, but hold nicely for a par. And she's still in this tournament. We can't forget about her. She's right there, and really handled the pressure very admirably today. I'm sure that she was wondering how she'd go, and a lot of other people were as well. She can certainly hold her head up high. I think she's left that short as well.
Short right.
It's a tough putt, though. It's quite a swale there. You can see it's probably about maybe half a metre in front of Van Dam's ball. But she would have learned a lot from watching that putt. One thing I like about watching Anne Van Dam, she gets on with it too. She's not a slow player. We all know that it's been a lot of conversations the past few weeks about slow play, and it's certainly a problem in golf at every level. And it's actually really refreshing to watch somebody that just gets up and picks their line and hits it.
For Eagle, and a hell of a statement if she can hold it.
Well, it looks a good line.
That's a tricky putt, and that's gone a long way past. So you find yourself putting for Eagle. 3 putted on this very hole yesterday, Karen, after driving the green. And this is where the great advantage she has can slip away in a flash.
Absolutely. And as we said, that's the way she plays. She's very aggressive, and that was actually a really good putt. It was just a tiny bit too firm. And you can see there that it's a little bit shiny, that green, and that's probably just where the heat of the afternoon has just sort of really dried that green out. And once it got past the pin, there was no stopping it. We go back to Carly Booth again. She will have watched that putt and probably thought to herself, well, that is a bit quicker than I thought. And perhaps it was Pogacar's putt first that did trick Anne a little bit, having left it short. So sometimes it's an advantage watching someone putt first, sometimes it isn't. So
let's see what the Scot can achieve with this.
Yeah, again, should break a little from her left, but it will be pretty quick down there. Oh, that's a good effort from there.
Lovely weight, as they say. And some polite applause, well deserved. That's tricky down that little slope.
You know, we've seen Van Dam miss from makeable range on 10, makeable range on 11, and if she doesn't make this, she's going to be getting frustrated as she was on this back 9 yesterday. You can see, you know, from tee to green, she's been absolutely superb from what we've seen, but just not capitalised.
So Booth still at 10 under. Of course, there are opportunities late to ratchet your way up the leaderboard, but everyone shares the same opportunity. So you're almost counting on you being the one that shines and pulls a late eagle out of your hat.
Well, that's it. You know, we've got not only this 12th hole, it's obviously a birdieable hole, and Pogacar's left her putt actually a lot further short than we thought it was.
It was a deceptive angle, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is 3 metres, I'm guessing.
3 metres.
And this will be a difficult putt, so it will break from her left. We saw she hold a really nice 1 on 10 for par. We're giving her a bit of confidence. See, she putts with her left hand low, which is a very popular method these days. That's a beautiful putt. Oh, she just didn't hit it. Oh, there's nothing worse than that.
A whisker in it.
Yeah, you get the line right. You work so hard on reading the putt and you get the line and then you just don't hit it hard enough. That's the worst feeling in golf.
Back to 11 under. And 2 off the pace. And Anne Van Dam now with this for birdie. But in the context, an important birdie.
Absolutely. Yeah, this will feel more like a par putt for her.
Lipped out yesterday. Same situation, same hole. Has she learned a lesson? Let's see.
Let's see. Another who putts with the left hand low. She rolls the ball really well. Not that time though. It was a disappointing putt.
Par to stay at 13 under.
You can see that frustration coming out, can't you?
Yeah, when your strengths don't pay dividends, you drive a green, you think you're every chance. But alas, no. However, let's see what's happening ahead.
Belgian Manon de Roy.
Quite achiever this week.
Absolutely. She's been playing really well out here this summer. Had a good finish last week up in Bonneville. And she's hit a tee shot way down the left here. It's a downhill par 4. Fairway slopes from right to left, and that's a pretty good shot from there. And she's managed to get a bit of spin on that as well, so sets herself up with a nice birdie chance. You can see Shin here's hit a superb drive down here, down the right half of the fairway. Perfect angle into this pin. And you'd be expecting she'll go straight at this. There'll be no middle of the green for GA. As I said, she's here to win. For her, it's, you know, first or nothing, really. She's not interested in second, third, fourth or fifth like some of the other players may be. She was actually the first Asian woman to be ranked #1 in the world, so really, really set the scene for another generation behind her. And that golf swing has not changed in the 12 years that I've known GA. Just a bit of a misjudgment there. Pulled it slightly and a little bit long.
Would have wanted better, and I tell you what, there's someone in the group ahead that might have just breathed a little sigh of relief then.
I'm sure, absolutely.
Still, she's a bit of a dead eye with the putter, with the short stick, GA, so.
You see Sagstrom here setting up for her second shot. And she's got Dave Buhai, who is Ashley Simon's husband, caddying for her at the moment, which I think is a good move. Dave's a very down-to-earth guy, very calm on the golf course. Just hasn't worked for him and Ash to work together as a player and caddy, husband and wife. That's a tough one. Just a sand wedge here. Well, again, just a misjudgment. She was coming from the semi-rough there, so that may have just sort of what we call jumped on her out of the slightly longer grass, yeah. So really pretty disappointing results all around there.
And you can see how this course opens up from the Brindabella side. Very linked style, open space, but some nasty traps placed in really awkward places, for especially off the tee.
Yeah, they are, and it's actually really deceptive, this golf course. If you're standing on a tee looking down at the fairway, you're like, oh, there's no way that bunker's that distance. So there's a lot of dead ground, so it makes it really tricky to judge your shots. Even though you have a yardage book, you know, you still a lot of the time play by feel. You know, if you get a club in your hand and if it's a perfect yardage, sometimes it just doesn't feel right. So, you know, for these girls here, they just made a misjudgment there.
Plenty of little bumps and swales to contend with across this little section too.
Absolutely. And from where GA's putting from, though, she'll have a putt straight up the hill. So it's actually, if she's going to leave herself anywhere, this is the putt you want. But she would have been looking for it to be a lot closer.
A good mess with the wedge, perhaps.
Absolutely. And obviously this year being a Solheim Cup year, players like Madeline Sagstrom will be really keen to get some points on the board. If they finish in the top 10 at any LET co-sanctioned event, they get Solheim Cup points. So really important to get off to a good start. There's a lot of players. You know, you've got Van Dam, you've got Sagstrom, you've got all the players that play on the LPGA Tour who are trying to get in from the world ranking points. So it's going to be really competitive. So any points that these girls get early in the year is going to be really, really valuable come September.
Having a really good, long, thorough look at this. It's almost as if she knows what rests on it.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Outright lead up for grabs here for GA Shin.
Yeah, and I was actually chatting to GA early in the week about the Olympics, and we were just saying that getting in the Korean women's golf team for the Olympics has to be the toughest team to make out of any of the sports, I think. You know, you could literally be third in the world and miss out with the top 2 players from each country going through. So just playing on the Japan Tour pretty much takes GA out of any chance of getting to Tokyo next year, but they're certainly going to have a very strong team. And this will be... Yeah, this will be a slow putt. She needs to give this a good whack to get it to the hole.
For birdie.
Yeah, just a slight misread there. Should be just a tap in, but you never know in this game. we've all missed those.
25 weeks as world #1. GA Shin, the first Asian woman, an absolute trailblazer.
Absolutely.
Can't underestimate the contribution she's made to changing face of a new generation of women's golf in particular.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And to watch her play in Korea, or even to be in Korea, I was at the International Crown in late 2018, and GA wasn't even in the team. She was there watching and supporting her Korean teammates or comrades, and the amount of people that were asking for autographs and selfies, and you know, she's almost like a rock star up there. It's hard to get your head around, and as I mentioned, she loves coming down to Australia because she can just be GA Shin the person, not GA Shin the superstar. As Madeline Sagstrom lines up for her chance for birdie here on 13. Should break from her left. Well, there you go.
Beautiful putt. Madeline Sagstrom learnt the lessons that GA Shin wished she was all over before she took her shot. That's a fabulous putt.
Yeah, and she's right there, isn't she? She is not out of this golf tournament. Not by a long shot.
Birdie for the Swede, who's had a really good time of it in Australia, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. She just hasn't been able to finish off. She's been right there in contention pretty much every week. Just the last rounds have let her down, but this is a different experience. She's been in the final groups the last couple of events, but this week she's not, so maybe she's more comfortable in that position. As we watch Manon Duroy, as you said, the quiet achiever this summer. She's been playing some great golf for birdie. Again, a little bit of a break from her left to right. Yeah, just hit it through the break. It was a good roll.
A little bit firm.
She has the Belgian ambassador out supporting her today, watching, which is great.
It's an interesting element, isn't it? The formalities involved with the Canberra Classic and events down here in Canberra generally, but much interest from the ambassadorial staff, the ambassadors themselves, the Governor-General yesterday, of course. It adds a certain something special, doesn't it?
It sure does. And, you know, we have one of the Swiss players is actually staying with the Swiss ambassador this week, and the German players have been staying with one of the staff at the German ambassador. And I think we have 7 ambassadors out here this afternoon watching, which is just great. Duroy for par. Yeah, solid as a rock. As they head to the par 4 14th hole.
Another, unsurprisingly, with a glittering amateur career back in her homeland of Belgium, Manon Duroy.
Yeah, and she has one pro victory to her credit on the LET Access Tour. You know, so yet to break through, I would say, in the big league, but, you know, she's not far away. She's been up there and shooting some low scores every week, and really steady player. Yeah, I think she's going to be a good player. I think she's in only her 4th year as a pro, so she's got plenty of time.
Hell of a ball striker, too.
Yep. We've got Shin here. Just a little tricky one. We'll break from probably just inside the right edge.
That's a nasty miss for the champ.
Well, that's a very uncharacteristic miss there for Shin. She missed a short one on 9 as well for birdie, I saw, so very unlike her. And opens the door for Van Dam again, doesn't it?
All of a sudden, GA Shin slipping back uncharacteristically. An error there.
Yeah, and those putts missed by Van Dam and Shin really keep the other players in this tournament too, don't they? They were at risk of getting away and becoming a 2-horse race, but it certainly isn't that.
That view across to the range, the Brindabellas there on this this newer section of the Royal Canberra layout. Spectacular as it is, nice and open, but fraught. The 13th tee in the background there, and plenty of interest up the back of the tee box there, baking out in this 32-degree heat too. Slip, slop, slap this afternoon here at Royal Canberra. Fabulous scenes. So we have an outright leader, Anne Van Dam, a shot clear of GA Shin, and then a shot further back to the Slovenian Pogačar.
Yep.
And interesting times ahead. Just a few holes to play. Karen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's anyone's game, and like I said, Pogačar's just cruising along there. She's not making any mistakes. So apart from that 3-putt we saw at 12, but she's still there, and so Sagstrom and Shin and Van Dam have just opened the door a little bit for the rest of the field, so it's going to be fun.
Oh, this ride home. Looking forward to it. Bringing you all the action from here, the ActewAGL Canberra Classic, Royal Canberra Golf Club.
Oh, well, look
Over the back for Carly Booth here.
Well, she's obviously misjudged her second shot here at 13 and over the back into... She's been very lucky, I think, to miss those bushes. We can see that pink golf ball in there. She may just have a shot out of there. And with the pin at the front of the green, she will have if she's got a swing, she'll have a shot here, but there's quite a big slope up there you can see her walking down the hill, so she's going to have to get it up and over that slope and then down to the pin.
Tricky shot. And I tell you what, from my experience over that section of the course yesterday, I'd be making awful loud noises around those little dry clumps of bushes. Don't want any of our little reptilian friends to be making an appearance.
No, absolutely. And those brown ones are the scary ones. So, yeah, this is a tough shot. But she has been so fortunate to actually, it looks like a half-decent lie, and the fact that she can actually get a swing at it. I mean, that could have been an absolute disaster had it gone in those, not sure what kind of trees they are, but anyway, she really needs to get this up and down.
Taking a lob wedge here, Karen, you think?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, you can't see it on the screen, but she's got quite a steep rise up to the start of the green from where she's hitting. Yeah, I don't think that lie was probably as good as we thought it was.
So things just not happening for Carly Booth in this final round.
No.
And she's starting to look a little frustrated.
Yeah, she is, and it's sad to see because she's had a pretty terrible run the last little while, and it would have been nice to see her, have a really good finish, which she still may do, but she's got some work to do here to make a par or possibly even a bogey. And when things start going wrong like this, you've got everyone watching and your mind's kind of spinning out of control and you're trying to control your breathing and slow everything down. But, yeah, it's an awful scenario to find yourself in. Sometimes you just want to hide under the nearest rock when things aren't going well.
Not a lot of them on this 9.
No, absolutely. We see good crowds out here this afternoon. It is such a beautiful day to be watching golf.
Fabulous to see. No ropes.
No ropes.
Near and close to the players.
Absolutely.
It's been a feature of this summer of golf, hasn't it? The intimacy and the respectful intimacy at that too, by some great galleries around the place.
Absolutely. I think Australian golf fans are probably some of the most knowledgeable in the world, and we saw at the Vic Open, and there was a lot of scepticism at that event with not having gallery ropes with the European Tour and the LPGA Tour involved, but it worked really well. And as I said, the galleries are very knowledgeable and very respectful. And we saw Jeff Ogilvy come out and say, well, wow, this is just amazing to be walking along the fairway, just having a chat to people. And here we go back to G.A. Shin.
G.A. Shin for Eagle here.
For Eagle here at 15.
15th hole.
Well, we saw her take 3 putts on the... Oh, no, this is for birdie. It's for birdie here on 14. Yeah, another tough pin here to get to on that front right of the green. So GA's just been sensible with his second shot. Almost.
Gorgeous roll.
Yeah, good putt. You can see these greens are really speeding up. Drying out with the beautiful sunshine we've had this afternoon.
That's what I was told, but I don't think so.
Desperate to make a dent at this point, wouldn't you? Just a break, a lip in.
That's it. And you look at GA, though, you wouldn't know if she was playing well or badly, and that's the one thing that's probably made her the great player that she is her attitude to playing and her calmness. You watch Manundaroe here. I'm guessing this would be for birdie on 14. Broke a little from her left. Yeah, it did as well. She didn't read that well enough.
Was on the practice green late last evening, practicing that very part. Bogacar for birdie here, the Slovenian, to make things really interesting.
Yeah, we saw Shin putting from almost the exact same spot. It's a pretty slow putt up the hill. She's putting beautifully. Oh, what a good try that was.
Roll. Just that last little curl giving you an indication of how quick these greens are rolling, how truly they're rolling too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like a putting stroke. It's very square to square. Again, there's a lot of different theories about how you should putt, but it's a very, very solid putting stroke she has. Just a par there for Pogacar on 13.
Still a very impressive showing, isn't it? For one so young in this, at the pointy end of a tournament, a few jitters on the opening tee expected, but since then has really settled into a lovely rhythm, hasn't she?
She sure has. When you look at Van Dam and what we assume is for a birdie here at 13.
Not quite.
Again, just a little bit too firm for that line. You can even see in her walking, you know, she's getting frustrated. She really is, and that's how she came off the course yesterday. If you were looking at Anne Van Dam when she walked off the 18th green yesterday, you thought she'd probably shot an over par round, not an 8 under par 63, but she knew what that could have been. And today, really, she could have put the lid on this tournament, you know, on holes 10 through here, had she made a couple of putts. So now, Boo, this will be a bogey putt here on 13. Tricky little one from breaking from the left edge. And she's taking her time with this one. You just got to get the pace and the break exactly right on these. There's probably 4 or 5 different lines depending on the pace for this putt.
Well done.
Very well done. Yeah, you can see she's annoyed with herself there, making a mistake going over the green, and probably a pretty good bogey in the end. She's a long way back now, so I think we can put the pen through Carly's chances of picking up the trophy at the end of the day as we watch Van Dam hole out for par.
Steady as she goes. And Van Dam at 13 under, and our leader still.
Yeah, it must be so frustrating when you're just giving yourself opportunity after opportunity, you're just not capitalising on them. But she's just got to sit back and think, well, I'm still there. I'm still right there where I want to be. If someone told me at the beginning of the week that I'd be in the lead with a few holes to go, that's where I want to be. So she's still in control, but there's still a long way to go.
Long way to go, indeed. Things heating up here at the ActewAGL Canberra Classic. Just a handful of holes remaining and a race in 3, you'd reckon, at this point in time. I reckon just quietly, Karen, you're liking the look of the Slovenian. The cool calmness.
I'm liking the way she's handled the pressure. I really am. I think that she'll take a lot away from the day today, regardless of the result, that she knows she can be up there playing with an Anne Van Dam and play well. There's a lot to take away from that.
Be interesting to see how all of this plays out. A little bit of breeze just starting to trickle its way through the commentary position here, so perhaps the weather will turn on a little twist over these last few holes, and particularly over in that exposed section over the back, the Brindabella section.
Absolutely. You know, it's very exposed up there, so if it's going to blow, sometimes you can feel there's no wind here, but it's blowing up there. So
to our leaders, Anne Van Dam out by 1 at 13 under. G.A. Shin snapping at her heels, but needs something to drop at 12 under at the moment. Catch Pogacar, the Slovenian, at 11 under, then Carly Booth at 9 under and battling a little, and you'd reckon the day is just about done for the rest of those. Christine Wolf already in the clubhouse, the Austrian at 7 under. Good final round for her. And Sarah Kemp, the best of the Australians, at 4 under the card, a 68, to continue her good form. We'll be back in a moment. More from the final round of the ActewAGL Canberra Classic.
with a capital C.
You might be certain about getting solar, but are you certain about getting the right size system? At ActewAGL Solar, we take away all the uncertainty. As your energy provider, we can take a look at your usage data to tailor a system that will save you the most money and offer great prices on battery storage so you can save even more. Plus, you'll pay $0 up front and have all the reliability of a trusted local company. So don't just be certain about solar, be solar certain with ActewAGL.
Audi Open House is now on. Don't let it pass you by.
You just grab that pile of stuff and put it here.
And welcome back to the ActewAGL Canberra Classic, into the final few holes, a handful of them. The fans out in force, as you can see behind me, and things getting pretty tense at the top. A race in three, Karen Lunn alongside me, Matt Webber to call these last few moments home, and pretty exciting and thrilling golf ahead, I reckon.
No, I think so too. I think we're in for a really exciting, what have we got, about an hour left? I think it's going to be a good afternoon.
A little bit of a breeze up. So we go back to action live.
His second shot hitting in here to the 18th hole. Another reachable par 5. Oh, what a shot in here. We're not exactly sure what play that is, but they've got a very good eagle opportunity to finish their round off.
All but a tap in, you'd reckon. A fabulous approach there from player unknown.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we applaud you regardless. Pretty as a picture here at the Royal Canberra Golf Club as Karen Lunn leaves me, CEO of ALPG. It's been an absolute privilege. Karen back a little later on.
How's it going?
Approach to the 18th here. Again, player unknown, but see what they can. Special guest alongside me. Had a pretty good week too. Sarah Kemp, -4 for the day to go with your 71 and 70. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Happy times. You've had a hell of a summer so far. You must be thrilled.
I am very happy. So it's been a dream start to the year. Couldn't ask for a better way to start. So, and yeah, it's nice to continue the good play. So all really good.
Where's the turnaround come from?
You know, I had a good year last year. I played on the Ladies European Tour and I had a pretty solid year out there. Probably just a bit of mindset. Stop feeling sorry for myself. So did a bit of work at the end of 2017 with a sports psychologist and, yeah, just been had a better mind frame, really.
Well, you've always been a fairly cheerful presence around the place, but even more so now. Things to celebrate too. You're ratcheting up that leaderboard and looking $1 million. The form's good, the feeling's good. Where to from here?
Next week's New South Wales Open at Queanbeyan, and then I've got a couple of events. I'm actually going to play in the ANA, the Major Championship in Palm Springs, part of the LPGA, which will be great, and then a couple over in Europe, and then hopefully head back to the States in about May for a full status back. So. Yep.
Exciting times. We're interested to get your thoughts for the next little while, if you don't mind sticking around for a bit. You've obviously been out on this fabulous golf course, playing it day in, day out. As we head back to the 14th, in fact, and Carly Booth, her second shot.
Yeah, the course is in great condition. The greens are rolling perfectly. It's actually been, a real pleasure to play on at the moment. A few hard bounces like that, though, over the place, but no, it's really in good nick.
So pin high for Booth after a little bit of a lull across the last few holes, a little bit of a dip in confidence. Bogey on her last.
It's nice to see Carly playing well, actually. I know she didn't have as many good finishes last year as she would have liked, but it's good to see her back up on the leaderboard.
Katja Pogacar. He's had a terrific time of it.
Check
11
she
under.
was, and Pogacar's second, and Van Dam hasn't gone.
Another firm bounce, but that's a great shot.
Bit of fizz on that one.
Yep.
Stopped it dead, so a good look.
Checkmate,
for
second
Pogacar there. I tell you what, if she drains one now, cat among pigeons, she's right up there with our leading two, and Van Dam and G.A. Shin, of course.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a tricky little front right pin here, but Anne seems to have hit it for a good angle here in.
A little bit deep, perhaps.
Probably a little longer than she would have liked, but
it's a problem she seems to have. A lot, Sarah Kemp, with me this afternoon. You had the pleasure of watching her firsthand yesterday. You played in partnership with Anne Van Dam. She shot the lights out of 63. It must have been something pretty special to witness.
It really was. It was fun to watch. I've played with Anne a few times over the last few years, and she's always been a great driver of the ball, but this week her short game's been really impressive, so hence why she's up the top there.
Madeline Sagstrom, third shot on 15.
Back left flag here today. Looks like she's coming from a good angle. Not too bad.
Distance right, direction a little askew. Really needs to start knocking them super close, you'd reckon, Sagstrom. G.A. Shin, what's going through her mind?
She's kind of the queen around this golf course, hasn't she? Isn't she?
Queen of Canberra.
Yep.
There's no doubt
absolutely
about that.
Loves it. Oh, she's right where she wants to be. 25th ranked player in the world, so I expect a few more birdies coming from her.
For birdie here, and Van Dam, and a little breathing space.
Pretty well judged from there.
Good effort from where she was.
I think after a drive she'd be happy with a 4.
A few whispers going around that Van Dam may have left a few out there. I'll chase you up on that in a tick, Sarah Kemp. G.A. Shin, third shot at 15.
G.A. is really solid with her wedges, so I expect this to be pretty close. Yep, just as I thought. She's pretty solid. That's why she's a 25th ranked player in the world.
Yeah, you don't win. This to restore a little bit of momentum for Carly Booth and birdie putt.
Little downhiller here. Good speed. Well
Lovely
done.
roll. Carly Booth, well done. Had a look at her playing partners, a close look, I suspect. And Van Dam went left. Carly Booth, the Scot, went straight.
Nice birdie there.
Back to 11 under. Well done. So impressive. Catcher, Rogichar. Second year on, and as calm as all get out. Sarah?
Yeah, I haven't met her yet or played with her, but I've heard that, yeah, she's got a lovely golf swing and been putting really well this week.
Manon de Roy, the Belgian, leaving that one a little short.
These greens are a little tricky to read. They've kind of got subtle breaks around the place, but obviously these girls have been reading them quite well.
Running pretty slick.
Yeah, they are. Yep. They're actually running beautifully as well. Really nice pace and very true.
The Swede, Madeline Sagström, for par here. That's what you need. Little trickle in from the edge.
No, perfect pace on that putt.
She stays at 8 under, probably too far back to challenge now at this late stage, but she's had a solid week, all right. But all eyes now on G.A. Shin. This is a birdie putt.
Just like her wedges, she's pretty deadly from this length in, so I'd be looking for this one to be in the middle.
Just cuts such a remarkable figure around the place, G.A. Confident swagger about her, just such purpose in the way she goes about her golf.
She's a lovely girl as well, and give me a little g'day mate when we see each other. She's got a pretty good one on her.
For an equal share of the lead.
Solid.
Centre of the cup.
Good birdie.
3 holes, all square at the top. G.A. Shin, of course, in the group ahead of Anne Van Dam, wanting to set a target. And find herself sitting in front of the screens, perhaps, just as you were, was it the Vic Open a couple of weeks ago, watching everything unfold before you with a bit of a flutter in your heart, I suspect.
Yes, quite the flutter. For sure. No, it was a great experience.
To our leaders, it's all square. G.A. Shin on 15 at 13 under Anne Van Dam. The group behind, the lead group 13 under there too. Keep an eye on catcher Pogacar. She is rolling beautifully. She's on 12 under. The rest probably a little far off the pace now. Carly Booth has had her battles today at 10 under. And then we're seeing some of the groups who've already finished. Good, strong finish by the Swede. One of a number of Swedes here, Linnea Strom, 6 under today. Good effort. There you are, Sarah Kemp at 4 under, Hannah Green pipping you for Australian honours. An outright 14th to go with some spectacular results across this summer of golf here in Australia, and more to come too. Exciting times. 3-4 holes to play here at the ActewAGL Canberra Classic, and we're going to count them on down. Streaming live for you this afternoon. Exciting times indeed. You going to stick around for a little while longer?
Sure, this is fun.
Want to get your insights. The mind games of the last few holes of a professional tournament like this. Beautiful Canberra, conditions absolutely perfect. That breath of wind I thought I felt a moment ago, it's disappeared. Yeah. Still conditions, scoring opportunities aplenty over this last little run home, and certainly exciting times ahead. G.A. Shin, Anne Van Dam, Katja Pogacar. Who will it be? Care to roll the dice?
Oh gosh, I think I'd put my money on GA at this point, just because she's probably been in this situation a couple more times than Anne. But Anne's won. I think she's won 4 times already on the Ladies European Tour. So it's 50-50, honestly. They're both very talented players, so it's actually good viewing. This will be fun. These next 3 holes.
Beautiful Canberra, turning it on. That sky is the most gorgeous shade of blue this afternoon, and great galleries here too, following the players round, enjoying the weather. Most importantly, enjoying a thrilling finish here. We were hoping for it. We were hoping that the cream would rise to the top. A story played out in 3 parts this afternoon. You'd reckon 3 that sit at the top of the leaderboard for the time being, showing that they have the right stuff to get the job done here at Royal Canberra. Lake Burley Griffin over there in the distance adjacent to us. Gorgeous scenes here at Royal Canberra. Of course, in a couple of different parts too, Sarah Kemp. You're in and out of the trees. You get out in the open section, the new section that we've just been witnessing over the last few holes as well. Does that play around with your mindset as you're working your way around the course at all?
Not really. At the beginning of the week, I felt like maybe the greens were a slightly different speed, but the greenkeepers have done a great job. They're pretty consistent at the moment now on both sides. So, yeah, as you say, 19 to 27 is a little bit more open once you get over that hill. But yeah, no, they're pretty consistent with one another. So really good.
Here's this Brindabella section of which I speak, the wide open spaces, our lead group too, and all sorts of bumps and rolling, tumbling little knolls over the back here, and just testing for the breeze there, perhaps those exposed areas, just starting to feel the effects of it. We can see the flags fluttering in the background there, but looks like someone has gone wide and left here.
Yeah, not too much breeze out there. Maybe a half a club, if anything, but really ideal scoring conditions right now.
A tough job for the cameras. Unfortunately, not X-ray vision for us, seeing through one of those swales that dot this back section. But we'll just see what comes out the other side of this. Of course, not far from where I saw that monstrous snake yesterday too. Did you see that as you're wandering away?
I didn't. I heard about it though, but I'm happy I didn't as well.
Nasty beast. It was indeed. A couple of the European ladies were keeping well wide, not used to those sorts of scenes. So not entirely sure what's happening behind it. It's quite mysterious, isn't it? Care to hazard a guess?
I'm not sure what's down there, to be honest.
Whatever it is, they're taking their time. It can't be pretty.
Not too sure.
Here we go.
Here's the ball.
Yeah, so if you stay there till the last group goes through.
So just short. It's pretty dry, scrubby sort of grass over in that section there. Might have been a bit of an awkward lie off some sandy soil. It didn't quite get the length on it.
It's not a bad place to miss that though. Just short right on just here. It should not too bad. It should be a reasonably easy up and down.
Again, a little game of Guess the Golfer taking place here this afternoon. Difficult for the camos out there.
I think that was Carly that just played.
I could have sworn that was Anne Van Dam poking her head over the edge there too, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, we've got a long left.
Long and left.
15.
That's Carly B's
Carly.
ball. Distinctive pink.
Not the best place, long left on 15 with the pin there today.
She was long on the last two, I believe.
Bit of adrenaline might be coming into play.
Perhaps the realisation she has to do something special to catch our leaders.
That's a good shot.
That's pin high from a blind lie.
I think that's for eagle, if I'm correct, for Anne.
Gives it a pounding. The value of length.
Yep, she definitely gives it a rip and straight. So she's actually a fantastic driver of the golf ball.
Just ahead of our group of leaders there, this is G.A. Shin, her second shot on 16.
Good angle here because it's a front right pin today, so the left side of this fairway or even just in the rough's not bad at all. That's a great shot.
That's class.
It is.
G.A. Shin with an excellent opportunity to burgle a shot back. But that camera shot giving you a really strong idea of the undulations of this layout. Not many flat lies, are there?
No, not at all. Yes, here on 16, it really benefits to be up on the left-hand side here. So you come up the hill and it's the flat part that if you can drive it in there, you're ideal. Madeline's over on the right-hand side, but I think she's just okay that she's cleared a couple of big trees that are short right of the green. And that's a great shot.
Well done. Up and over. Lovely feeling among all the competitors, Sarah. You strike me as a very collegiate bunch, very kind to each other, commiserate when you need to.
Yeah, we are. Everyone's pretty great. I'm always wishing my competitors, that they play well as well. No one likes to see, people missing putts or anything like that. And we're all pretty good friends. So
the Belgian Manon de Roy there, lovely approach too. Three quality golf shots there, all each inspired by the other. We'll head to our lead group and Carly Booth, where she has found herself a few times now. Over the back in the dry, scrubby grass.
hopefully she's managed to get a good lie out of this, and it is doable, but by the look of it, if she could get 15 feet past the flag there, it'd be a really good shot.
Pogacar, wouldn't she love something special here? 3 holes to play. 1 shot adrift. Not a bad effort.
Yeah, lovely chip.
All eyes on Carly Booth, the Scot. Popular starter, Carly Booth. Plenty willing her to do well after a pretty dry run, it's fair to say.
Looked like it was a little sandy underneath there.
That sandy, dry, scrubby stuff, really difficult. Got to be so clean, don't you?
Yeah, especially off those sort of sandy lies. It's kind of, sort of need to play a bit of a bunker shot there, get down low, really open the face and swing hard at it. But yeah, all round difficult shot. So if she can pull off a par, that'd be she'd be happy to walk off with that.
The Belgian, De Roey, for birdie.
This one should be pretty straight uphill, maybe break a touch to the left if I'm correct, but a good place to putt from for birdie.
disappointing. Playing for bucks, though.
Yes.
She'll remain at 8 under. Back in 6th place. Unsurprisingly, very deliberate about what's a very important putt.
This one's should be a little downhill and left to right for GA.
For the lead. She's tagged the final round queen, I believe, G.A. Shin.
Yes, been a fantastic closer all her career, really.
Starts at left and
What a
loves
putt.
it. We have a new leader, Sarah Kemp.
That's a
G.A.
great
Shin
putt.
to the top of the leaderboard at a hugely important moment too. It's on 16. She's got 2 left to play.
She's looking dangerous now.
And the squeeze all of a sudden on Anne Van Dam. Fourth shot for Booth. For birdie.
Interesting play here for Kylie with the putter, but that grass is around the greens. It's a little sticky.
Wraps, doesn't it?
Yeah, hence that's come up a touch short, but
I've seen that play fall short a lot. Here we go, Sagström, Madeline Sagström. Impressive Swedish player. Another lovely putt. Tried to stay out, but it dropped back in. There's been a few of them. That's for Van Dam, in fact. And Van Dam. And that is critical.
yeah, that's a huge, if I'm correct, I think that was that a 3? An eagle on 15. Yeah, there it goes to 15.
Eagle for Van Dam. So all of a sudden, all that good work from G.A. Shin accounts for very little indeed. Van Dam back to the leaderboard, back to the top of the leaderboard.
Really taking advantage of her length on these par 5s. She only, when I played with her the last few days, she's only been hitting irons into them. So this is really impressive stuff.
So interesting times. Just when we thought G.A. Shin was taking the mantle and running with it.
That's right.
No. And Van Dam, as she's done all week, particularly yesterday and again today, is showing everything. Every bit the champion. We'll see how that unfolds. Par for Booth. If she can knock this in, and from where she was, way over the back, I reckon she'd probably take her par and run.
I agree.
Well done.
That's a good 5 from where she was.
Still looking a little dejected. High hopes.
Yeah, it's the par 5s at Royal Canberra are really gettable. So a lot of them are on the shorter side, and a lot of girls can get to them in 2. So they probably feel more like a 4.5 to us at the moment. So, but from where Carly was there, 5's a good score.
This impressive young Slovenian. This is for birdie. Just to tap on that door, ever so slightly ajar. Calm as you like. She's been hitting her putts beautifully, it's fair to say.
So, Ralph, are you in position to get those fours, are you?
Last three holes, Sarah Kemp. What's going through minds now?
Oh, so Anne Van Dam's now 1 up, but She's got 16 to play, so you really need to hit a good shot, a good tee shot up the left side there. 17, so back flag today. It's about a 175-yard shot. And 18, yeah, you need to hit a good drive. So it's not all over yet. It's going to be quite interesting.
Gettable, gettable,
definitely.
Though. Interesting. The course set up just so for a grandstand finish, as they say, the ActewAGL Canberra Classic. In its final moments, we're waiting for the final groups to make their way up just behind me on the 18th hole here. Matt Webber's my name. Sarah Kemp alongside me, calling the action. Absolute pleasure to have you along too. Smile on your face.
Thank you for having me.
Form on 16, and Anne Van Dam. Wouldn't she love to bisect it here?
Should only be about a 5-wood for Anne. If she can just get it up on the flat on the left-hand side, she'd be very happy.
The gallery liked it. Leaked a little to the right.
That's far enough though that it's going to be just fine. I think she'll be pleased with that when she gets up there.
She's a relaxed character.
She is, yes, yeah. No, it's really impressive how she's playing golf at the moment, especially the last 2 days. Like I said, I've always thought she's been a great driver of the golf ball for how far she hits it, but her short game's been super impressive this week, so hence why she's up the top there.
Pogacar taking driver.
Most girls could probably hit driver on this hole, except for the likes of Anne. Being as long as she is, she only needs about 5 wood.
Again, a little right, but no trouble there, you wouldn't have thought. Seemed to be sitting up pretty proudly. Giving herself a chance to attack, I would have thought, from that angle.
Yeah, it's a front right pin, so lefts, I assume they were trying to hit it up the left, but you can make something work on that right side. Carly's quite a long hitter of the golf ball as well, so she should be able to get this way down there.
Curious swing.
Yeah, it's a new move that she's playing with at the moment. I haven't seen that before, but it's working for her.
She hits them like that. Stick with it. This our lead group making their way up 16. Probably too far back, Carly Booth, to make any real impression, but she'd love to finish strongly. She's had such a good week and enjoyed her time here immensely. It'd be nice to finish off with something special, but all eyes really on our two leaders, and Katja Pogacar, the Slovenian, in third place, but Anne Van Dam, one shot out in front and striding with purpose there up to her ball. Royal Canberra, the final moments of this Canberra Classic, the ActewAGL Canberra Classic. Beautiful Canberra. Here's our leaderboard. Anne Van Dam, our outright leader. 15 under, Jia Shin, the Korean superstar, former world #1 at 14 under. And Katja Pogacar, as I say, 13 under for the time being. A race in 3, you'd reckon. We'll be back in a moment for the final few moments of this spectacular tournament, the Canberra Classic from Royal Canberra.
You might be certain about getting solar, but are you certain about getting the right size system? At ActewAGL Solar, we take away all the uncertainty. As your energy provider, we can take a look at your usage data to tailor a system that will save you the most money. and offer great prices on battery storage so you can save even more. Plus, you'll pay $0 up front and have all the reliability of a trusted local company. So don't just be certain about solar, be solar certain with ActewAGL.
Audi Open House is now on. Don't let it pass you by.
To the view at the top, from the snap of the dawn to the pick of the crop, across the horizon you jump, skip and hop, and never stop.
And welcome back. Beautiful Royal Canberra, the ActewAGL Canberra Classic, in its final moments. Alongside me, Sarah Kemp has left the building. In comes Felicity Johnson, Englishwoman, proudly so, and a regular visitor to our shores. Hello.
Absolutely, thank you. Thanks for having me, Matt.
3 under for the week.
Yep.
You'd be pretty pleased with your work, I would have thought.
Yeah, pretty happy. Hit the ball really well today. Could have easily been 65 without really blinking. But yeah, lots of positives to take to next week. So yeah, it's a check on a Sunday afternoon, so it's a good place to be.
A couple of putts dropping. You never know your luck in a big country.
It's always a difference.
I saw you warming up earlier on. You're absolutely flushing them at the range. I thought, I wonder if she's going to turn something on today. And it just wasn't meant to be this time round. Yep. But Queen Bien, another opportunity.
Absolutely. Next week, who knows what will happen.
Now, talk us through these last few holes. We've got a couple of groups really... Here's our lead group now. Carly Booth, a hallmark pink ball. Uphill approach.
Yeah, short par 4, 16. Should be going in with just some sort of wedge there. Pins on the front right. The tree shouldn't be in her way there, so she should have a pretty clear sight of the pin.
Snuck away on.
Yeah, good shot there. Uphill putt for birdie.
Front pin. Makes it a little tricky.
It does, because you don't want to try and get too cute with it and just come up a couple of yards short, and it's going to spin back a little bit, leaving an awkward chip, which she played that really well there.
Now to the ponderings of our outright leader. No, we've got Katja Pogacar first. It's been so good all week. Her second shot.
Yeah, she's been impressive today, how she's hung in there with J.I. and with Anne there. Yeah, another good look at birdie.
Similar result to Booth. Another peek at it, and just letting the leaders know that she's still around if they trip over.
Absolutely. Anytime you're there with a shot, within a shot with 3 to play, you know you've got a chance.
Now our outright leader. Probably with the best look at it of all 3.
Yeah, I mean, just coming out the rough, she might not be able to control it quite as well. A little ball above her feet should go a little right to left. But I think Anne can control this pretty well.
Looks like it's sitting up okay. Pretty clean contact, although...
Yeah, that's fine there. Just pulled it a bit out the rough, but it's going to do that out of that lie. But another good birdie opportunity for Anne.
The different textures of this course, Felicity. We've seen a few people, Carly Booth in particular, get themselves in trouble over the back in the scrubby, sandy, very Australian looking foliage, dry and really crispy underfoot. The fairways are really firm, and then you've got these spectacular putting surfaces to contend with too. The fringe areas are around quite lush as well. It's an interesting course of contrasts.
Yeah, there really is a few different mixtures going on out there. The greens are running great this week. They always, for as long as I've been coming to Royal Canberra, that's what they're known for. They're just such pure greens, and they're running fantastic this week. I think they're running about 12 on the stimp meter, so you've got to be careful with those downhill putts. And around the greens can be tricky because a lot of the grass grows against you, so you've got to really attack the shot. When you're trying to get cute with it sometimes, it's really easy to just leave it straight in front of you and have the same shot again. But 3 good birdie opportunities for the leading group here.
Van Dam could make a statement with this putt, couldn't she?
Yeah, I mean, going kind of 2 ahead with 2 to play. She'd only have sort of a mid-iron into 17, and obviously 18 is very reachable for her. with her length around here, it's a massive advantage. Can really make the most of the par fives, and I think that's what she's done really well this week. She's such a good player. It's she could win all the time, in my opinion. She's a fantastic player.
All the time, every time.
Almost. Her length is such a massive advantage.
A beautiful backdrop. These ranges that off in the distance, the Brindabellas here at Royal Canberra. It really is a spectacular location.
It is, and we're getting the opportunity to see the other 9 holes here for the first time this year, and you get the really spectacular views out the other side, and it's nice to be able to see a different few holes here this year. So this putt should go a little left to right down the hill there. It could easily get away from her, but I think she'll be feeling pretty confident in making it. She's made some great putts this week. Getting a caddy, Paul, who she recently started to work with, to have a look as well. 4 eyes are better than 2.
Sometimes.
Yeah, maybe not for me today.
To really put a stamp on things here. Put herself 2 ahead of Jie Shin. Nice looking roll, and she has drained that just.
Yeah, I mean, it looked in all the way, but then it tried to just hold its line at the end. But no, that's a great putt there.
She moves to 16 under, 2 holes to play, and she should start feeling pretty good about herself.
Yeah, she's really good when getting in contention of really putting her foot to the gas and making birdies at the right time. And I think that's something that can't be taught. It's kind of a natural given talent that she's got there for that situation. Fascinating
to me today, the amount of putts that have dropped off the lip like that, done, you know, half a lap of the world and then gone in. It so often happens the other way.
Yeah, it's nice when they do fall in that way. Got to make the most of those. Back up the hill here for Carly. Should go a little right to left, but there's not much in this, I don't think. A little short, maybe.
That was for birdie, and she needed that.
There's nothing worse than leaving it short in the jaws.
Just hasn't been Carly Booth's day, unfortunately.
But it's nice to see Carly playing well again. She had a difficult season on the LET last year, but I think the start that she's had this season, especially this week, should set her up well for a good year on the European Tour. She's a great ball striker. I think she just needs a bit of confidence.
In third for the time being. Keep talking about this young lady's poise. Katja Pogačar.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a situation she's found herself in too often, so I think it's really impressive how she's still there with the leaders today against two really world-class players.
Oh, unfortunate.
It was a good putt there. She gave it a good go.
She's putted beautifully, really. Good roll, as they say,
Absolutely.
all day. Looked really jittery on the opening tee. I made comment earlier on Felicity, and she's settled down into a rhythm really quickly, which makes it all the more impressive that so often we see young players get overwhelmed when they find themselves in a position of contention at an early part of their career, and she's held it together beautifully.
Yeah, you can often look at a scoreboard and pick 1 or 2 players that are going to fade away, and with no disrespect to her, she'd probably one that you'd pick at the start of the day think might fade away, but after overcoming some nerves at the start, like you said, she's hung in there really well, and whatever happens today, there's so many positives for her for the rest of the year and beyond that as well.
And for all the talk of Anne van Dam's magnificent 63 yesterday, we can't forget that Pogačar knocked in a 64 herself to keep herself well and truly locked in contention at the top of the leaderboard. Really impressive outing. It's warm out there.
It's very warm out there today. There's a lot of water being drank, and it's great to see so many spectators out there as well. I think the locals here in Canberra and the members at Royal Canberra have really got behind the event well. And again, no ropes on the fairways. I think it's great for women's golf especially to have the spectators down the fairways, and the golf fans here in Australia are so knowledgeable. You know they're not going to get in the way and not going to be a nuisance, so I think it's fantastic to see.
It's a spectacular setting indeed here. This composite layout at Royal Canberra being used for the very first time, and to very fine effect too. The scoring has been good. The golf has been magnificent. The galleries, as you say, Felicity, have been knowledgeable and polite, and enjoying the scenery. The weather has been absolutely drop dead, knockout gorgeous, and we're having a good time of it. You're off to Queanbeyan next week. What do you know about the layout there?
Speaking to a few members that I've bumped into throughout this week, they said it's kind of narrow and tight in places with small greens, which kind of reminds me of playing back home in the UK. It's kind of similar to the layouts that we have. So if they're telling me the truth, I'm looking forward to the week. It kind of suits my game and looking forward to getting there. I've heard, again, the greens are good. It's what we come to expect in Australia. You guys look after your courses so well. We just get spoiled out here. So looking forward to seeing Queanbeyan for the first time this week. And, yeah, hoping to make a few more putts, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Felicity Johnson with me, Matt Webber. This is the Qantas 17th, the par 3, uphill.
Yeah, it was playing downwind when I was there earlier. All three of us went over the backs, maybe a bit deceiving on the tee. We kind of played it off the left a little more, but, yeah, we all went through the back. So I reckon Anne's probably got maybe 7 or 8 iron in her hand. Maybe probably 8. The follow-through says she doesn't like it, but if it's gone right, there's a bank there that she could use. Maybe not that far right.
Maybe just a little bit of tension creeping in, maybe getting a little ahead of herself.
Yeah, maybe she's just lost a bit of tempo there, which is unlike her.
It's a hallmark, isn't it? That
it
lovely
is.
Fluidity.
Yeah, usually makes the game look pretty easy, but she's got a little bit of green to work with there, but it is downhill, so it'll be a tough up and down, but we'll see how her short game's performing today.
Again, another gorgeous hole. Welcome respite, having been in that open section at the back too, baking in the sun, to just get a little bit of relief from the trees again.
Yeah, it's a lovely par 3, the 17th. It's it kind of sets up really nice for the eye. There's a couple of bunkers on the left, and say there's a slope on the right you can use to bring the ball in. It's just a nice pin to get close to. Towards the back today, and with back isn't a great option, but these players know what they're doing out there now. Leaking a little right as well. There you go. There's that bank I said you could use. That's local knowledge there.
Maturity beyond her years now. Katja Pogacar.
There you go. Now she's happy with it.
It's like a ping pong ball, like a pinball out there on the 17th green, but she'll have a good look. Relatively straight putt for birdie, I would have thought.
Yeah, she's pretty happy with the result there. The old line, I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes.
Carly Booth, how she would love to finish strongly. This idiosyncratic backswing for the time being.
Yeah, clearly working on a backswing there. Oh, something's disturbed her. Or somebody has. She'll start her routine, go through it again.
A camera click. A phone ring, not sure.
No, different club. Bit of indecision there. Maybe gone to the shorter club. Now she's moving the ball a bit further forward on the tee. Maybe a 7 iron for Carly. Again, she's one of the longer hitters on tour as well. She can certainly get it out there with Anna as well.
There's not a lot of her. She's just tremendously powerful. Dedicated trainer, of course.
Yeah, loves the gym, Carly. Very strong. Good golf swing as well. Oh, she's really tried to force that one. Left nothing behind.
Gave me a sense of left-ish.
Yeah.
It did, but perhaps not as far as she thought.
Stopped very quick. That green's got firmer throughout the day, I think, and maybe a little unlucky that didn't release a bit further. But again, she's got a birdie putt. And, yeah, she's another good week for Carly.
Did you grow up playing with Carly Booth? Were you of the same vintage?
A little bit. I've got a few years ahead of Carly, but we've played a lot together on the European Tour. She must have been on tour for 10 years now. So, yeah, we've played a lot of golf together, and she's a great ball striker. Just needs to keep things simple, I think, and she loves the gym, and I respect that, and she's just got to concentrate on her golf for a little bit. she's too good a talent to not make the most of what she has, I think.
The thing, you know, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, she has such a distinctive media profile. She's miles ahead in terms of her social media and her ongoing media commitments. But it tends to portray the fact that she had this incredibly rich and illustrious career as a junior. And she's won twice on the LET Tour as well. The ability, there is absolutely no doubt that it exists there in absolute bounty.
Oh yeah, there's an abundance of talent there, and I think sometimes obviously very high profile on social media, and that can kind of can overlook the fact that she does, like you said, she's won twice on the European Tour, and to win once on the European Tour is fantastic. It's not a fluke. To do it twice is real talent. And like you said, she had a great amateur career, and I think she just needs to get some good people around her and just focus on golf, and just hopefully let her golf do the talking for a little while. And hopefully this can kickstart the rest of her season.
Indeed, indeed. It's been so long since she's been in a final group.
Absolutely. It'll be a massive confidence boost for her. No matter I know she had a great first 2 days, and even if she didn't play great today, she should take a lot from the week. But again, like Katja, the way she's held in there today and competed with the best, the leaders this week is something they should be very proud of.
She can do it. So Anne van Dam is lost to the right and deep for the time being.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really quite sure what's over there. That's a long way right, with kind of a short to mid-iron that should be hitting in.
Let's, well, Anne van Dam ponders how she's going to put it close there on 17. This is on 18. And Jia Shin, who you'd think would need something fairly significant here on approach to this gettable green at 18. Spectacular finishing hole.
There's been a few eagles today here, so Jay will be looking for that to really post the number. Coming in with some sort of fairway wood there. These don't usually leave the pin very often for her. It's a good strike. Maybe head a little left.
She'll have a look at eagle.
Yeah, eagle opportunity.
As it just leaks to the back of the green, but that should be all right. She's on the dance floor.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's down to look as to what sort of lie Anne's got over here. Looks like there's a bit of like some pine needles, some dirt, some grass. It's pot luck as to how your lie is, really.
And in between these dry clumps of grass, there's plenty of sand that, unless you're really crafty and really precise, can make you look a bit like a goose sometimes.
Absolutely. I think if she tries to land this on the green, I'm not sure if she can hold it. I mean, there is some green to work with, but it's straight downhill from that right side that she's coming from. Be interesting to see what sort of shot she tries to play here.
2-shot buffer for now. Our leader. To nip that pretty nicely indeed from there.
That's a fantastic shot.
Every day of the week.
Oh, every day. Just nipped it nicely off a bit of like the hard pan dirt there. And yeah, I mean, it's a risky shot to play. She could end up with it right in front of her face and have the same shot again. There's bunkers the other side that's staring her in her face, but the way she nipped it, she almost was a little unlucky. It rolled out a little further.
She strikes me as a brave golfer.
Yes, very much so. Leaves nothing to chance. She's not going to die trying out there. So at least she's got she's given herself a putt for par, which is what she'll be trying to do after that errant tee shot.
And if she does that, she might be striding up the 18th with a 2-shot lead, depending on what Jia Shin can do with her eagle putt, of course. That could square things up at a rate of knots.
Carly leaving the pin in, embracing the new rules here. Put in with the flag in.
You pin in, pin out.
Pin out, old school. Although I did hold one today with the pin in. Maybe I need to reassess that.
Change as good as a holiday. Solid strike. A little too.
Yeah, should maybe regretting going for it quite as much as that now. Probably seems a good idea at the time to give it a good run. Left herself a nasty 4 or 5 footer. down the hill, left to right. Every golfer's favourite.
Again, another showing of frustration. Just hasn't come together on the final day for Carly Booth. 17th green. Again, good crowds gathering around. I love the intimacy of it.
Yeah, it's great to see. This putt should go a little right to left from Katia here up the hill. One she can really be aggressive with. Maybe not quite as aggressive as Carly.
Little bobble.
Yeah, it took a jump early, which just took the pace out of it there.
The difference in the end.
Yeah.
As it was pretty much online.
She can tap that in for a par, and for the European Tour players that are here this week, they're playing for, obviously, their cards at the end of the year, and we've got the British Open mid-season where the top 25 of our money list qualifying to that, so there's lots to play for the European girls this week, so Katja can go a long way towards securing her card and getting a spot in the British Open this week with this good performance. Big putt for Anne here. Down the hill. Should go a little right to left, but maybe not do too much down there. This would be some 3.
Drilled it.
That's clutch. That's why this girl's so good.
She remains on 16 under and subject to developments ahead. A couple of shots up, heading onto the 18th tee, and we'll take some topping from here.
Yeah, that's a sort of par that wins your golf tournaments right there. I'd have written her down for a 4 after that tee shot.
Perfect weight.
Oh, it was one of those putts that was never missing. There's some that you just stand over and you know they're going to go in, and just looking at Anne, that was one of those for her.
Very G.A. Shin-like, actually. Centre of the cup.
Yeah.
Rattling into the back.
Left to right for Carly for par. Yeah, that's good.
Nice stroke.
Confidently hold, which is nice to see for her.
One to play at the ActewAGL Canberra Classic. Carly Booth, the very popular Scot, sitting on 10 under. She's 6 back from our outright leader, Anne Van Dam. And G.A. Shin missed. No, G.A. Shin for eagle here. A difficult eagle putt.
Yeah, it's one that you wouldn't expect to hold, but just occasionally do see them drop in on a Sunday afternoon to create a bit more drama.
Bit of a stir, square things up, give Anne Van Dam something to ponder.
Yeah.
As she slides a tee in on 18.
Uphill all the way here. Pretty straight. Maybe go a little left, a little right to left, but overall from that distance, just trying to get it within that dustbin lid, within a few feet.
That will disappoint her no end.
That's one of the worst eagle putts she's probably ever hit. She's usually pretty deadly from there to get it within a few feet and tap it in for a birdie. So that'll be disappointing for her.
Never looked like it, did it?
No.
Well short, well left.
Wasn't her best effort. Another good, whatever happens, it's another good show for her here in Canberra, though. It's a pretty good record.
She owns this place.
I'd get tips off her any day here.
Such a fabulous presence, the powerful Korean.
And one of the nicest people on tour as well. Fantastic person.
I reckon you're all pretty good, it's fair to say. Pretty pleasant bunch.
Well, not bad. Some more than others. Beautiful day in Canberra today. They really turned on the weather for us.
Yeah, the one thing you can't control, Felicity, and It's come for us in spades. It's beautiful conditions.
Especially us Brits, it's probably the thing we talk about the most.
Madeline Sagstrom, she would not be disappointed with her effort this week. In fact, she's had a really good time of it in Australia. This for birdie. Nice ring about 10 under. Let's see what she can do. Always had the look of short about it, didn't it?
Yeah, nice one to tap in from that distance on the final hole. Like you said, she's played great these few weeks out here. She'll take some good confidence when she goes back to America for Phoenix in a few weeks' time. Be looking to make the Solheim team come the end of the year again. One of Sweden's best and most up-and-coming players.
Quite the contingent of Swedes here. Wonderful presence. There always is.
Yeah, they do. It's a conveyor belt they have. I don't know what they do in Sweden, but they produce some fantastic golfers.
32 nations represented here at this Canberra Classic. Dragging out all the ambassadorial staff.
Yeah, it's great to see them here this week.
Isn't it good? Adds a certain polish to the whole thing.
It is nice to see them here watching the golf in the nation's capital. Maybe get them a day out the office at the start of the week as well. You got to think to have any chance this needs to drop for JI to get within one.
This is for birdie, and then it all rests on Anne van Dam.
Is it? No.
Oh, shaved.
Had a look at it, but just decided I didn't want to go in today.
Which has been against trend, it's fair to say, on this back nine.
Yeah, probably in every round she's played here in Canberra, she hasn't missed many putts from that distance.
So that was on the 18th green. This is on the 18th tee. Anne van Dam, 2 shots ahead.
Later to rip with a driver.
And I've got a sense that she liked that one.
Yep, nothing not to like about that one there.
That's a long way up.
Anytime you're in the middle of the fairway, it's a pretty good spot.
So 2 shots up. Maybe 2 shots away.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice cushion to have playing the 18th, that 2-shot lead. Always feels that little bit better than just the one.
Just pull out the putter from here, wouldn't you? Just jab it up there.
With her distance, she very easily could do.
What can Pogacar do here?
Be nice to see her finish with a birdie or maybe an eagle here. Really finish the week off in style.
Opportunity to get an outright second.
Yeah, good balanced swing there.
It's a lovely shot, isn't it?
Yeah, another one finding the fairway.
Takes a fair drive to outdrive our friend Van Dam.
Yeah, 2 great drives there. That's how you play this 18th hole. See if Carly can keep up.
Turn it into a competition.
Absolutely. Could be a lot of fun out there watching these 3.
Was at the event on the Wednesday preceding, didn't they? The challenge.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Long drive. Did you feature for England?
They gave me the microphone for some reason. I left a big hit into the others, maybe the younger ones. Carly's certainly no slouch off the tee.
Oh, she gave that.
She really went after that.
She gave that a real
lunge and all sorts in that swing. Maybe went after it a bit too much, but she's got away with it.
It just bounced and rattled around in there for a bit, but it did pop out.
Yeah, seems to come out the other side, and she should have a clear shot to the green from there.
Members bounce.
Absolutely. Local knowledge. Great crowds there.
Wonderful gallery marching up the 18th hole, this uphill, great finishing hole. And in fact, plenty gathered now behind us and to our right in our position here, Felicity, to celebrate the arrival of Anne van Dam, who is in the box seat, 2-shot lead, and she is well positioned for after a booming drive. It's the sorts of drives we've been seeing from her all week, and she's well positioned to knock it up there and give the people here something to cheer. Maybe a champion marching up the 18th fairway. Must be a nice feeling.
It is. It's nice, especially with that 2-shot lead. Like I said, you can relax a little bit more and really enjoy the moment. Kind of when you're tied for the lead or maybe chasing, you're very involved in the moment a bit more, and you've got to take a bit more care and consideration. But every step now, you know you're a step closer to picking up that title. And from there, it's only going to be a mid-iron in for Anne, and she can really enjoy this stroll up the 18th fairway. It's one that she's made a few times now with the winner's check and trophy at the end of it.
It's a wonderful, wonderful sight to see, isn't it? The crowds from the clubhouse here descending upon the 18th green. Those who've been out on the course all day, baking in this sun, enjoying the shade of some of these magnificent trees alongside the 18th fairway here, and closing in around 3 golfers who've given everyone a hell of a lot of joy this week, it's fair to say. Anne van Dam, though, what an extraordinary performance. I was having a look at her numbers as a youngster. Felicity, amateur national champion at home Netherlands, of course, Dutch woman, under 9s, under 12s, under 18s and under 21. Not bad going.
She's got them all ticked off there.
Consistency. I tell you what she's shown on the course here, she's shown us across the course of her career, even as a very, very young woman. But rounds of 68, that magnificent 63 yesterday, where she really could have put it beyond doubt, because from all reports she left a few out there, and well on her way to shooting something pretty special today.
And this will set her up nicely for when she goes to the US, making a debut on the LPGA this year. I think she's one of the ones to look out for in America this year. She's got all the attributes to be one of the world's best players. And
length is so critical on the LPGA
absolutely.
Tour, and she's got that in spades.
Yeah, she's got that in abundance, and everyone goes on about her length, and it's obviously a massive factor, but she swings it one of the best in the world, in my opinion, in the women's game. It's every position is perfect. And
length is one thing too, Flick, but she hits it straight.
Exactly. It's a deadly combination. You look at the best players in the world, that's what they do. And for me, come the end of the year, I think she'll make the Solheim Cup this year, and it wouldn't surprise me to see her pick up a trophy this year in America, and this will set her up nicely.
Where does the Canberra Classic sit on the pantheon for professional golfers that are visiting this country? I mean, any win's a good win, but to win a contest, a professional contest in a country's capital city, does it have an extra little special something about it?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, anytime you win a trophy, it's you're the best player that week, and that's what we're all here trying to do. Anytime she won in Spain not that long ago, so she's won maybe twice in the last 6 events. So she's really making a statement. And yeah, like you said, to win in a nation's capital, she'll always have fond memories of coming to Australia now. And yeah, Canberra, that's what she's going to remember about it, and I think she's going to really enjoy this moment.
And enjoying that stroll up to this 18th hole. Carly Booth, though, first and foremost, has to nudge her way forward here. A little bit of tree trouble.
Yeah, I thought she got past those, but
did look like
just got caught up in them.
She might just have nestled into one of those buttresses there at the bottom of... Oh, no, just off the back of the slope.
Be interested to see what kind of shot she's going to try and play here. Maybe just chipping out to leave herself a pitch shot up to the green. Or is there a gap?
Curled it around, didn't she?
Yeah, made a big cut there.
Big cut, and did it really, really well.
Great shot there.
Rolls out on this green too, has a tendency to. That's a spectacular result.
That's where strength can really play a part. Maybe being able to move the ball so far in the air like that. That's it's strength and obviously a skill.
Move over Tiger Woods. We saw it out of the bunker the other day.
That was incredible.
Yeah, Carly Booth can do it too. There you go.
It's not very often Anne van Dam's not last to play into a hole.
Isn't it remarkable? What must be going through her mind? She's such a calm presence and has this lovely, relaxed, languid demeanour about her, but even the calmest heart must be fluttering.
Absolutely. You just know you need to make one more good swing, and then the rest will take care of itself in this situation. It's such maybe a mid to short iron she's got in here. That makes par fives a lot easier. She can take aim and fire at this pin, kind of back middle of the green. Yeah, it's only a short iron she's hitting.
There you go.
Very nicely done there by Anne. Nicely controlled in the distance.
She can start to breathe a little easier. Anne van Dam up by 2.
She can smile now.
And with a putt for eagle, so...
there it is.
Set this up with just a blitzing round yesterday. had everyone a buzz. A spectacular 63. Could have been anything, though. A few missed putts.
See if Catcher can get inside them both. A great ActewAGL here.
Beauty of golf, isn't there? There's always a little mini fight within the battle.
Absolutely. There's always something to play for.
Yeah, I am, but I'm sticking half the load. Can you get that out?
Perfect drive. Great look at this pin at the back here.
Nice flight on that ball too. Just caught the front edge there and got a little stuck, didn't it?
Yeah, it's really a bit disappointed from that situation after such a perfect drive. That'll filter back off the front there, and she can probably chip and run it from there, or it's a long putt. It's pretty slow back up that hill.
Well, games within games, Felicity. She holds that outright second.
Absolutely. That'd be great to see.
But it's all about this spectacular athlete for the time being.
Yeah, it's a nice walk that she could have in front of her now. She can enjoy it. Maybe look around the crowd, see a few friends and give them a quick smile.
Just about to enjoy a warm reception from the gallery clustered around the grassy knolls that surround this 18th green. Lovely amphitheatre effect, closed in by the loyal support of a gallery that's just followed this group from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's a nice area they've set up at the back of 18s. A few beanbags back there for the kids, and it's some umbrellas to stay in the shade. And Royal Canberra's really looked after us this week. It's always a great venue and one I always enjoy coming back to, and this year's no different at all.
Hasn't put a foot wrong in Van Dam today. Spectacular closing round. And could she ice it with something special?
Yeah, a quick dab to her fans there. Friends in the crowd.
Bracing herself for a dunking, perhaps.
I hope so. It's the tradition that we have on the European Tour. I prefer it when they get sprayed with champagne than water. But yeah, it's something that she's getting used to now as well, Anne.
Van Dam's moment will come. For now, it's about Katja Pogacar, who can leapfrog G.A. Shin and get herself into outright second place, which would just be a sterling performance for a second-year player.
Yeah, the only Slovenian player on tour. She's doing her country proud here, and hopefully there's a few of them watching back home in the early hours.
Has quite the following, apparently, in her home country.
That's good to hear. I mean, it's not a country known for its golfing prowess, but hopefully Katja can really put golf on the map back in Slovenia and maybe be a trailblazer for them there.
Did her time in the college circuit, as so many do now, Ohio State, which is a pretty solid golf program, as I understand it. So her talent was spotted early on, but she was smart enough to major in maths and biology while she was doing the golf. So this golf gig doesn't work out.
She's got a pretty good backup there. She's obviously a smart cookie. She's got to give this a pretty good rap back up the hill.
For Eagle, she's given it a chance, but it just didn't take.
It's good for pace. Pretty happy with that from down there. Left herself maybe 5 or 6 feet for birdie. Hope she can knock that in and seal a good week.
A share of second now up for grabs for Slovenia's Katja Pogacar.
Carly can have a look at her Eagle putt, that distinctive pink golf ball that she uses. It's nice when you step onto the first tee and you play with Carly, because you know that's one golf ball that you don't have to worry about hitting, because it's certainly not yours.
If you leave the pin in, I suspect you're not one for coloured golf balls.
Yeah.
That would pin out for you, sorry.
Yeah, old school.
No, white all the way.
Yeah, it's hard to get past some traditions that you've grown up with. I think pitting's great for the pace of play, and no problem with people that leave it in, but just not for me.
A stickler.
Just don't like change.
Don't like fear change. Felicity Johnson with me. Matt Webber, this is the 18th green. Carly Booth has had a fabulous week. Not her day today, but she has a chance here to put an exclamation mark on things. This for Eagle. Solid wrap.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good putt. She gave it a go. And I've seen a lot of misreads on this 18th green. I was one of them.
A lot left.
Yep. Yeah, I was one left, actually. Good to know I'm in the majority. But hopefully Carly can tidy that up and seal a very good week for her. I'm sure she'll be moving on to Queen Bian with some high expectations after this week. The stage is set for Anne to really seal it in style here. Knowing her, she'll want to make this and get the celebrations underway. This would really seal a fantastic week for her.
Two out. This to Lee to win by 4 shots.
She'll be disappointed with that one. She'd have liked to seal that with in a flourish and impress the crowds there. But maybe she's just taking her time and she's going to steal the moment.
Maybe a sense of theatre. She wanted the last putt.
Yeah, she's going to set the scene.
Well, she might.
Really.
She's earned the right to do it on her terms, Anne van Dam.
Yeah. She can take it all in and really enjoy the moment when it comes to her very shortly.
For a share of second with former world #1 Jia Xin, Katja Pogacar.
I try and read this, but I misread everything today, so I'm maybe not the best person to ask, but she'll be pretty straight. Bit of pace, she can knock this in. Yeah, well done.
Beautifully done.
Very good putt there. Good 2-putt from the front of the green there.
She finishes today at 1 under, and she can be pretty proud of her work. Tied for second.
Yeah, she won't have been in this situation many times before, so she can take a lot out of that. And when she's in this situation again, she'll know exactly what to expect and handle it even better than she did today. It's a great week for her. Carly just to tidy her week up.
Great numbers. Watching on.
Yeah, well done.
A birdie to finish, and that's fair.
Good week for Carly.
Carly Booth, she'll close things out at 10 under.
Back at the end of the leaderboard where Carly should be.
Yeah, indeed. With that level of ability. An element of disappointment, but to Anne van Dam from the Netherlands to ice the cake.
There it is. The winning putt for Anne.
In hindsight, never in doubt.
No, looking back now, it seems very easy to say it. But fantastic playing for Anne from all 3 days. That 63 yesterday really set today up for her, and she can just go out there and play steadily and really get the job done. Yeah, she'll get the opportunity to celebrate with her friends.
Looking cautiously towards the bleachers. She knows there's probably some liquid on
there it is. She knows what happens next.
It's a fabulous tradition. Well done.
It's good. It's one of the great things about the LET. There's always some... you've always got your friends there at the end to celebrate with in this fantastic moment, and it makes some really great memories on the LET.
Your champion, Anne van Dam, 2019 ActewAGL Canberra Classic winner. She claims it in the end by 3 shots. Jia Xin promised to make a move early. Didn't quite eventuate in the end. Putts didn't drop, things didn't go her way, but rock solid all day. Anne van Dam setting herself up for, well, perhaps a run that could be quite special. She certainly has all the attributes, Felicity, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how it unfolds for her.
Yeah, it's very exciting. She's got, in my opinion, the world's her oyster, so I wish her all the best, and I hope she can really fulfill the potential in America that we all know she's got from here in Europe. It'd be nice to get rid of her for a few weeks as well. Give us all a chance. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
But no, fantastic for Anne here. Very popular winner.
Hugs all round. around the 18th green, Royal Canberra Golf Club. Presentations to follow, of course, but a very, very worthy winner. Smiling for the cameras. Well, she might. Well, she might.
Showed form earlier in the week as well with a pro-am victory on Thursday, so the signs were there for everybody to see. And she really got the job done in fantastic style this weekend.
I think had the longest drive too, didn't she, at the International Challenge?
Yeah, she probably had it all this week. That's the hat trick then, yeah.
Is there any silverware this woman hasn't claimed?
She's took everything from Canberra this week.
Spectacular clubhouse up the back, with a magnificent view of this beautiful course as things come to a close. Felicity, I'm a bit sad.
It's been a fantastic week here in Canberra.
But overjoyed for our friend from the Netherlands, Anne van Dam, who's played just so supremely well. You should be mightily proud of what you've achieved this week too.
Thank you. It's been a good week. Lots of positives to take. Looking forward to Queanbeyan and make a few putts, and hopefully I can be in Anne's situation come next Sunday afternoon.
A different kind of challenge at Queanbeyan, a tighter, narrower kind of a course, and we'll see how you go. But fabulous to have you along and to get your insights too. You've battled these greens across the course of the week, and to get your thoughts about how these balls roll has been invaluable.
No, thanks for having me, Matt.
Good for you. Good for you. Scores and cards to be signed off on, formalities to be completed, and then we'll get to a presentation.
Yeah, just a sign of the cards to be done, and she'll check that about. If it was me, I'd be checking it 20 times just to make sure everything is done properly, and you don't want to ruin it now you've done all the hard work.
Oh dear. Can you imagine?
Don't.
You're just giving me heart palpitations on behalf of Anne van Dam.
No, she's got a caddy there with her, Paul, who's been on tour for 25 years. He won't let anything slip past. It shouldn't be done.
He knows which boxes to tick.
Yeah. She's in safe hands there, and yeah, you've done all the hard work. You've just got to get a signature on a card and then take the plaudits when you've done in the scoring.
Tell me, where do you think the LET collegiality is born from? It just strikes me as, I mean, we see it at the end of play. Anne van Dam wins, the tradition of the water, the dunking. Everyone seems to get along remarkably well. What inspires that kind of friendship among players?
I think a lot of us grew up playing amateur golf together. I've been on tour for 13 years, and I've known a lot of the girls for a lot longer than that, playing kind of junior European golf together. And whenever we played the national teams, it was a lot of the same faces. So we've kind of grown up together, and it's a very tight-knit community almost. We're just like a travelling circus that travel around the world together. And you do make some great friends here, and it's great that when you do have some success, you get to celebrate with them. And we try and rent houses when we can and stay in the same hotel. So it's very friendly, and look, it's great fun. We get to play golf around the world.
Wonderful too to see such interaction between players and kids. There's clinics. There's any number of things that many professional sports people might balk at contributing to, but I don't think I've ever heard one of the female participants here balk at even ponder saying no for a moment.
No, I think the female players, especially on the LET, we get that that if we can do anything to help the club and the community, it's going to help ourselves to grow the event in the future, which is what we're all trying to do. We all want to play bigger tournaments, more money, but anytime we can play an event, we're willing to put back into the event whatever we can. And I know when I used to go watch tournaments as a junior, I just wanted to get autographs and collect golf balls and just kind of have a picture with the players. So I think we all realise that we were that kid once, and if we can put a smile on their face, then it makes our day as well.
Yeah, it's a credit to you all. It's a credit to you all. The ActewAGL Canberra Classic coming to an end. A magnificent victory for Anne van Dam of the Netherlands, who really has been dominant for most of this week, specifically yesterday when she shot the lights out, a 63, a flawless 63 to close things out so stupendously today. Her final numbers, again, a blemish-free round. Another blemish-free round. So, you know, 2 bogeys on day one across the course of her entire tournament is pretty sharp shooting, isn't it?
That's good golfing. I mean, even if you are hitting the fairways and the greens, you might throw the odd 3-putt in there, or you might get the odd bad bounce that puts you in a difficult situation. But that just shows how well Anne's played. For the last for 2 bogeys in 54 holes is phenomenal. And you don't get many bogey-free rounds, let alone bogey-free weekends.
Back-to-back bogey-frees for rounds 2 and 3.
Very impressive.
Totally impressive. 8 birdies yesterday. Not quite as sharp today. Still the 3 or 4 birdies because she closed out with a 4. So that what's that? Give her a 67.
67,
to
yeah.
Go with rounds of 68 and 63. Fabulous golfing indeed. Just waiting for the formalities. Fill a trophy full of champagne and celebrate long and hard.
That's it. I mean, Anne usually celebrates pretty well, so I'm sure she'll celebrate with a few friends this evening, and she'll be looking forward to getting the presentation done and saying the thank yous and showing Royal Canberra what she's made of, like she has done all week.
Is there an element of shared experience with a victory like this, or do you tend to go into your own camp and have a bit of a quiet yahoo?
I think she'll celebrate she'll stay here at Royal Canberra for a little while and speak to the volunteers, and there's been so many of them this week. She'd like to share the experience with them and the members, and then she'll go back. I'm sure she'll probably stay with some billets this week, so she'll go back and have a nice dinner with her friends and enjoy the moment.
It's good, isn't it? Half her luck. Half her luck. Could be you next week at Queanbeyan. Felicity Johnson, English woman, alongside me. Matt Webber, we're just getting things finalised at the presentation area. Saw some footage of Karen Lund, CEO of the ALPG, have done yet again such a wonderful job for this, another success story for the ALPG and for women's golf in Australia. Let's head down to the presentations and Sam Squires.
Well, I'm here with our winner, Anne Van Dam, and also with ActewAGL General Manager, Ayesha Razak. And congratulations on a fantastic win. There was a lot of pressure coming into this final round. How did you deal with that pressure, and how relieved are you now to come away with the win?
Yeah, right now I'm super relieved. It was quite exciting the whole way around. Only I couldn't really see the scores that much, but I knew like 1 or 2. But after yesterday, it was funny because I shot 8 under par and I still knew that I had some more shots in there. So that gave me so much confidence for today that I knew I can basically birdie every hole here. And that's what I try to do, just try to stay patient, trust my long game. And I'm just really happy with the putts I made down the stretch.
You had Jia Shin, the defending champion, breathing down your neck. Were you keeping an eye on her scores? You said you were keeping an eye on 1 or 2. And did that make you nervous at all? How did you deal with that?
Not really nervous, because every time I looked, I was still 1 ahead or same score. And I knew, what I said, I like the course so much. I know I can birdie every hole coming in, and especially after that eagle on 14, or 15, sorry. I knew that I really needed that putt to go in.
17th was a tricky hole. Talk about pressure. I have to apologise. That was actually our cart that I was in with the ALPG president, Julia Boland. Sorry for parking it there, but how tricky was that?
No, it was just my fault. It was probably the worst swing of the year so far. It just happens, and same thing. You can get stressed about it, but I just stay patient, and I thought, I have so much room on the green to work with, and I'm going to give it my best to get it up and down. And my chip was almost perfect, but then the putt was, dead center, so that was nice.
Your swing is the envy, I think, of just about every single golfer here. Have you done anything different to it lately, or what's the secret to it? So much power, so much distance.
A lot of balls every day. It's just a lot of hard work, and especially with my coach, David, we did a lot of good work the last few months, and it's just been feeling very easy, so I'm just happy with that, and I don't know what to say.
I did hear as well, it wasn't a great arrival into Australia. You actually lost your luggage, and you've been without your luggage and without your clothes for this entire 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've come to Australia about a month ago, and they lost my suitcase on my way here. So for the last 4 weeks, I just bought some clothes, borrowed some clothes. I'm excited to go home tonight. Hopefully, there will be something I'll find it, but yeah, it could be worse now.
These are your lucky clothes, though.
Exactly,
now.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And how have you enjoyed your time here in Australia?
It's great. I always love coming to Australia. I made my rookie debut here 5 years ago, and I've always loved coming back. So to have a win now in Australia makes me a very happy person.
Well, congratulations. Very proud and happy that you got the win and a fantastic time here in Australia. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I've also got Aisha Razak from the ActewAGL. I mean, you guys are such big supporters of women's sport in ACT and in Australia. How proud are you to sponsor this event?
ActewAGL's been sponsoring the Canberra Classic for 5 years now, and we're extremely proud. We think supporting women's sport, promoting inclusion and diversity is incredibly important, and I think these girls have just gone out there and shown us that women's sport can be just as exciting as men, as exhilarating, and, you know, it's just great to have these role models out there.
Absolutely. I'll invite you now to hand over the trophy to our winner.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There, sharing the spoils momentarily with our deserved winner, Anne Van Dam. Clearly delighted, as well she might be. Felicity.
Great looking trophy.
It's not bad. Good.
It's nice, that.
Bit of classic about it.
Picture myself with that one next year, hopefully.
Good. She'll be having a sip of the fizz out of that one a little later on, I suspect. Spectacular indeed. Let's have a look at the final scores, how things ended up in the wash-up. The cream rising to the top. Anne Van Dam, of course, our runaway leader in the end. 3 shots clear of the very impressive Slovenian G.A. Shin. 13 under. Didn't quite click for her today.
But she'll be going back home with a nice week again here in Canberra. And I mean, if anyone needs any tips about how to play Royal Canberra, she's the one to ask, I think.
Carly Booth, nice to see her finish with birdie for 11 under, a 70 today, so 1 under the card despite having a few difficulties around the place. Another consistent performance from Madeline Sagstrom. She could be well chuffed with 10 under the card. Your country woman, Megan McLaren, 8 under. Another good result in Australia for her.
She's had some good form, and she's going back to defend next week at Queanbeyan, defend her New South Wales Open title. So she's had a good 2 weeks, so she'll be feeling very good about going to defend there.
Equally consistent across the week, the Belgian, Manon de Rooij. She played beautifully. Christine Wolf, there or thereabouts for the majority of it, the Austrian.
Yeah, her birthday this week as well, so she'll
really?
be, I think she has a party tonight, so we'll find out where that's at. That's where the party's at tonight, everyone.
And a European affair until we get to Hannah Green at 7 under in the end, so she finished with a little flurry after a few hiccups on her shoulders. Australian hopes flew or hung. Sarah Kemp, again, another consistent performance. She's having a fabulous summer, and no one would begrudge her that. 68 today.
Been a great summer for Kempe. She's got her LPGA card back, and she's going to go back to America full of confidence.
Fabulous to see Leona Maguire do well too. Quite the following for her here, ambassadorial and otherwise.
Absolutely, and former world #1 amateur, so she's making her debut on the LET this year. So there's lots of talk about her, so it's great to see her showing some form early in the year.
Plenty of chatter about that 18th up the top there. The Englishwoman Felicity Johnson, -3 today.
Not bad.
Overall.
Not bad. Potential there. Yeah. Potential for next week. Just needs to read the greens a bit better, hit them a bit harder at times, and I'll be right there or thereabouts.
Oh, here she's showing a fair bit of form, hitting the ball pretty well. The leading American, Amelia Lewis, has had a pretty good time of it too. -2 overall. Marianne Scarp-Nord, -2 overall, par today. I thought she might have been positioning herself for a bit of a tilt yesterday. There was something about the way she was going about it. Didn't obviously click for her today. The Norwegian, of course, a winner on this Australian stretch. The first event in Ballarat.
Yeah, and then one last week in Bonville as well, and I spoke to her after a round today, and I think she read the greens even worse than I did, so that was nice to hear from Scarpy as well.
Brie Gill, another Australian in 29th spot, 1 under the card, and yet another Swede, Lynn Carlson.
Another one off the conveyor belt there.
Yeah, there's plenty of them rounding things out. And Van Dam.
Here's the winning moment again from Anne.
The Netherlands.
She will never get tired of seeing this putt.
To ice the cake.
There it is. Pretty simple in the end to round off that 3-shot victory. Thoroughly deserved.
A sense of theatre. She could have dropped the eagle.
Very easy to say it. She just wanted to set it up for her and take the plaudits in style.
Absolutely stunning victory for Anne Van Dam of the Netherlands.
Yeah, this will really give us something to build on for America. And like I said, second winning about 6 events in Europe. So, like I said, we'll be glad to get rid of her and she can go and play against the Americans for a little while.
Those big long levers, yeah, some more trophies that make some room on the mantelpiece, I reckon. And Van Dam. Big thank you to all involved in today's live stream across the tournament all week, to the ALPG, of course, the sponsors, ActewAGL, Audi and others for their contributions to making this week in Canberra a really special one. Felicity, thank you to the weather gods for delivering such bounty for us here, particularly on the third day. It's been a spectacular day, a way to wind out what has been a wonderful tournament. The ActewAGL Canberra Classic wraps up for another year, hopefully back next year. Absolutely.
All the players would like to be back here, so fingers crossed we can make it happen again. It's been a great week.
And the circus rolls on. Queanbeyan next week. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And ratchet your way up that leaderboard, top 10 and above, I reckon.
Absolutely, that's the aim for next week.
Drop a few parts. And thank you for being so generous with your time across the afternoon. It's been a pleasure catching up again. My name's Matt Webber. Absolutely thrilled to be a part of this broadcast today and bringing you all the action. Congratulations to the Netherlands and Van Dam. A stirring 3-shot victory in the Canberra Classic.